Good afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time it may be for you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fall 2026 South American Cup. Remember, they have the flipped seasons compared to us up here in the Northern Hemisphere. Of course, this is the English broadcast. There will be Spanish and Portuguese broadcasts on other channels. I forget exactly which channel. I think the Portuguese cast is usually on Beta's channel, and CA might be doing the Spanish cast, if I'm not mistaken. But for now, we are here on the English broadcast, and we've got a decent number of matches and 1v1s later on today that we'll get a chance to see. Of course, we're going to be starting off with the seeding first and foremost. Right now, we're just waiting for the players to get into the lobby. Around the turn of the hour, we're going to be getting into that. But for right now, we're going to be seeing the 5 maps. If you saw last Saturday, the North American Cup, the exact same 5 maps, except this time we're going to be seeing the South Americans play on them. So you get to see them suffer a little bit. If you're any North Americans here that participated last weekend and we're just waiting for your chance to be the spectator, now's your chance. So we're going to be seeing 4 rounds on each of those 5 maps, and then players are going to be seeded into one of 2 divisions. In theory, I believe we have 16 people signed up. As to how many of those actually show up, my guess is probably closer to 13, 12-ish maybe. Usually there's 1 or 2 people that sign up and then never show up, but you gotta give Nats an aneurysm at some point during the weekend. Otherwise it's not the South American Cup. But either way, once we get into the 2 divisions, we're going to be going into a day of round robins. We're going to be seeing a bunch of 1v1 matches, and then from there we'll be moving on tomorrow, where we'll actually have Legion joining me on the cast then for the actual double elimination bracket. I believe it's double elimination, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure. I read the rulebook 10 minutes before this, so we should be good to go. Either way, we have 3 minutes, give or take. If I go in-game right now, you'll be able to see not just the fancy smancy new graphics that Nat's made up for this go-around, but you can see Rookie currently and a few other players in the lobby just getting warmed up. You can see quite a few people here. Not all of them are racing. You have Gutsuga, or Gotsuga as he's renamed. Some people driving, some people respawning in perpetuity. I don't know if we're going to start on this map, but we will see all 5 of the maps in the pool over the course of the seeding round, so you get a chance to see some names that are notable, aside from Rookie being one of the top dogs here for South America. I saw Charles, Noisia, even Matt signing up, at the very least. Again, no idea if they'll show up, but they should, in theory, be here. Oh, well, speak of the devil, Matt just showed up. Correct me if I'm wrong, is this the very first South American Cup he's participated in, or maybe he participated in a really early one? But I know Manox won the first 2 or 3 South American Cups before Charles eventually won, and then I think Noisia also won the last 2, if I'm not mistaken. We are going to be getting into it in just a little bit. I think we're still waiting on a couple players here and there. Fjorton, I believe, also played last weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I know he was in college up here in the Philly area, I believe, Philadelphia. But so he technically qualifies to play in both. He gets 2 chances to qualify for the Pan American. A couple of newer names as well. Finthex just joined. His names keep moving around. Yep, Charles is in here. Mobius, I think I've seen that name around, but there's quite a few newer names popping in here and there. Actually, let's hide the chat because that's not as relevant to us. We'll keep the stream clean, so to speak. But chat, I want to know, I see a couple people cheering on players here and there. Who do you think's going to win this one, right? Is it going to be Charles after a little bit of a hiatus of winning these? Noisia is currently the returning champion. Matt, again, I don't think he's ever played in one before, but he's an extremely talented player from years past, so he could certainly give Noisia and Charles, who are the obvious front runners here, a run for their money. But who knows, maybe we get an upset. Someone lesser known popping in. Did I say Alex was playing? Why does he have... What is that flag? Or is that... I think Ubisoft recently did a change for states as well. I'm not sure if that reflects in-game. I don't actually know, but that doesn't look like a state flag. I don't know all the state flags. Either way, Should be getting into it in just a minute. I think a few more people are trickling in here and there. I don't see Noisia yet. No, I don't see Noisia yet, unless he renamed, but I tend to doubt that. He did sign up. I checked the the tab before. But either way, a couple more minutes. Let's hop on board with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Matt. Again, I don't think I've ever had the chance to cast him. I know he's been around. I know he's popped into... As soon as I spectate him, he stops driving. I swear he's doing this on purpose. but I know he's popped into the NCSA server semi-recently, so maybe he's getting back into the swing of things. I believe he even put up a brief LFT for the EWC rookie. We saw that. It's okay, it's warm up. Keep it warm up, and there's Noisia. So we do have a couple players that are probably going to be very well known on the global stage, even more so than they currently are now, in a couple of months, as they are more than likely going to be the South American representatives for EWC, possibly even qualifying for ENC, although I think there's quite a bit of a battle for those last few spots. Couple more minutes. I think we have... I think that also counts. Yeah, it counts the spectators. So in theory we have like 14 people in the lobby right now. Maybe 13. I thought I saw Alex in here somewhere. Maybe he left though. Currently what you have been seeing is this map here by... I think that's Manux. I know there was one map that Manux mapped, and I'm pretty sure this is the one. There were, from what I recall, I just looked briefly through the map packs. I didn't like really play them, didn't have time to play NAC last weekend, actually, or cast for that matter. But from what I remember, there was like 2 maps, this one being one of them that's like rather difficult, 2 maps that I found to be surprisingly simple, and then there was one map by Casitas, who did a pretty good like middle ground map. It wasn't too difficult, too hard, it was just kind of in between the other ones. So gonna have, you know, a little bit of craziness with this one here. The Manox map, Alvi Verde, and then I believe it was the Alex Share Body Pillow is the other map that I found to be pretty crazy, mostly with just like precision and whatnot. But again, we'll get a chance to see all of the maps in a few minutes as we hop into it. I think at the very worst we're just going to be waiting for another 2 minutes here as we get into that, and once we actually see the seating, we see all the players popping in. Let's hop on board with someone else. Let's see Charles, if I can get him. There we go. Skins aren't quite loading in yet, but that'll probably happen as we get into the rounds. I think sometimes during warm-up the game doesn't like to load them. Either way, I think the obvious favorites here are going to be Charles and Noisia. Again, rookie and Matt, depending on how much Matt has practiced. He might just be doing this for, you know, the vibes of it all, just having fun. Or maybe he seriously trained and is going to be showing up a couple of the more modern mainstays. I mean, Matt, I believe, was Charles and favorite in the same sense. Flimsy. Come on, the man has a family. Either way. Maybe this time he won't choke. I don't know. I believe it was 2 South American Cups ago, or was it one of the more recent Pan Americans where he is discovering the maps now? He was. Okay. Well, who knows? They're all in it here for the vibes. It's the South American Cup. It's usually only a couple of people that are like really try-harding, and then a couple of people that occasionally pop in and just go crazy for like the first time ever. So that should be the end of it. You can see the map order. We're going to be going over to Legionary first, then Gatorade, then Alex Shear Body Pillow, then Alvi Verde, which we've been seeing here in the warm-up, and then Cinderwake. And I believe... oh god, I don't remember. I remember it was Alvi Verde and Alex Share Body Pillow, which I found to be like the 2 harder ones in the map pack. And then whichever map was the Casitas one was like middle of the pack, you know, not too difficult, not too easy, and the other 2 I found to be relatively simple. Granted, that means it's going to be pure pace, and these players are going to have to push really hard to win rounds, which is really exciting in its own regard. So, just, you know, waiting. Just pop up chat starting in 15 seconds, so we should be good. Seen a little bit, a little bit of banter there in chat. It's part of the reason why I hide it. Although, to be fair, Trackmania players are a lot more tame in match chat than certain other esports that I have seen in the past. There's a reason why, if we can help it, we try to hide chat for the production side of things. But we're going to be starting off here on, what was it, Legionary? Once it loads up, we'll get a chance to see, and we'll hop into it. And again, this is just seeding. There's not going to be any knockouts from the overall tournament today. As a whole, it's just going to be the 1v1s, kind of seeding into the divisions, and from there just going into it. Brief warm up here, 20-15 seconds tops, and then we'll be going over into the actual rounds where points matter. Overall, we have we might actually have all 16 people, if not like 15, so we have a good turnout. This is one of the larger turnouts for the South American Cup, because I remember in past events it's been like 10 people here and there, but we have a decent number of newer names. Nats also play. I don't remember seeing him on the bracket, but I'm so used to him just running around like a crazy person trying to... Is Alex actually driving? Or is that someone... No, I have to imagine that's actually Alex. Okay. Someone want to fill me in on the lore on that one? Or he's just doing it for fun? You can see Noisia up towards the top, alongside Nats and Charles. Matt in the fray. Mobius here, again a newer name to me, although I believe I've seen them around here and there, probably in the air server if I had to guess. A lot of South Americans hang out in there that otherwise usually don't participate in some of the more international stuff we got. But he's not doing bad. I mean, 5th place in a lobby of like, what, 16 people? That's really not bad. And of course you do have that pack up towards the front, but Noisia clips somewhere along the line, and he will fall further behind Mobius here, getting a free 4th place potentially as we're coming up to the end of this map. Is he going to make it? He will. But you do have... Oh, Nat's clipped briefly. Nats. Please. It's just seeding. We can't start this now. Alex is playing to make it 16 people. Okay. Okay, fair enough. So is he actually going to be playing in the bracket, or is it just, mildly convenient? Either way, you can see. First round done. Again, 4 rounds per map, playing all 5 of the maps. Palau, that is not the line, and I think he learned that one the hard way. I think some of the skins are starting to load in. I saw a little bit of a lag spike there, but it's alright. You can see once again Noisia and Charles, Matt, Fjorton up in the front this time as well. Nat's still up there as long as he can actually, he's going to play the whole thing. Okay, so Alex is playing the South American Cup. He's an honorary South American. Now we have to fight over which country he's going to be representing. Either way, Noisia this time around trying to avoid any kind of clip, maintaining his lead well enough. Matt, unsurprisingly, up fighting for those top few spots. He is, again, former TMGL player. I don't remember if he played in TMCL at all, but I know back in the day, I believe even before this game, it was TM2 Stadium that he played in TMGL. Charles, trailing a little bit further behind. He's representing Ecuador. Okay. Oh, someone died? I think. Was that Noisia? That was Noisia. Okay, well, first place is just a little bit too far away for him. That's this time actually making the finish. Solid 6th place. And, yeah. Noisia not quite getting the positions that he wants quite yet, but again, the first 16 invited to TMG. Yeah, right. That's a little bit before my time, so I only know the base level lore. Oh dear. Okay, well, sorry. This I was like, that's a new name. Let's check them out. Let's check out Alex, Mr. Axel Shear himself. Towards the middle of the pack, give or take. Again, there's 16 players, and that's a no slide if I ever saw one. So, rookie this time up towards the front. Let's hop on board with him, see how he's doing. Currently has like a half-second lead, so I have to feel like everyone else just crashed somewhere along the lines, because rookie's good. But, like having Charles and Matt and Noisia and literally everyone else that far behind, this is just mud of a round. But we're going to stick on board with Tuki. Did he slow down a little bit there? I'm not entirely sure. Not really, but you can see Noisia slowly creeping his way up, actually extremely fast. Might even be able to see an overtake here. potentially he's gaining like a 10th every single checkpoint. He really wants that first place before we get off of this map. Rookie, a little bit of a bump there, but I don't think he'll be able to be overtaken, although Noisia really wanted it. Really wanted that one. Eblex here, pulling up the rear. Should be able to finish. You know, I don't think that counts as a caster curse if I can't finish the sentence. Just gonna throw that out there. So, currently, you can see my mouse wheel will cooperate. Charles and Matt actually tied for first place here on, I believe this is the final round. Yeah, final round here of Legionary. And this map, again, this is the Casitas one. This is the one that is relatively middle of the pack in terms of difficulty, at least in my opinion. Gutsuga up towards the front with Rookie again. Charles and Noisia not too far behind, and Matt's had a little bit of a bumpy ride so far. So everyone's a little bit more spread out than we might be familiar with. But there's plenty of time. This is the first map of the very first round of the tournament on the first day of it all, so, you know, people gotta warm up. Flimsy is to be believed. Then Charles and potentially others have just been learning the maps a couple hours ago. Noisia, again, I guess he just does not like Casitas mapping. It's the new Mephisto mapping, apparently. Charles looking to take that first place. Rookie and Gutsuga battling it out with just a few hundredths separating each other. Closing it out, and you can see that towards the bottom of the pack, everyone else is slowly finishing it up. Noisia still not finishing. Buzzer beater? Actually, he's even going to get points. He does. Just barely. Just barely. But that is Legionary. Again, middle of the pack in terms of like difficulty of the map pack, in my opinion. Which one are we going on to next? This is going to be Gatorade by Thonej and Jabski. This one's a bit simpler. I don't want to say it's easier, but it's less precision, less crazy turns left and right, you know, less gimmicks, more just like, I guess stereotypical. I don't know who was going to the right. I guess they're checking out the GPS, but it's okay because they got warm up. But yeah, as you'll see, once we get done with this 15-second warm-up, someone's driving backwards, that the map is relatively simple. Coming into this, again, mapped by Thonej and Jabski. We'll take a look at Noisia. Not exactly the strongest showing on really anything so far, so we're gonna hop on board with Mr. Piwotech. Okay, everyone's in the mud right now. This is about the most NCSA tournament so far. I missed last weekend. I couldn't tune into North American Cup at all, but I hope it was as chaotic as this, because this is just incredible. You love to see it. Unless you're the players, and you're really hating to live through it. But, you know, their suffering is our entertainment. A lot of clips here and there. Fewerton still kind of in the middle of the pack, had a bonk here and there, give or take. I think that was a gear issue. But you can see Rookie and Charles up towards the front. Matt also battling it out, currently in second place overall in the points. Everyone going for the risky, not the most risky thing in the world, but Rookie, another first place. Is this the time for Rookie to claim not just a top 4 as he's done so many times in the past for SAC, but potentially a win? Who knows? He's going to have to perform, well, like this for a lot longer. It's today, and then it's all of tomorrow, and then you got to survive through the bracket, and, well, who knows? Who knows what might come of it? Let's hop on board with Nats, if we can find him. That's not Nats. My mouse's scroll wheel doesn't quite work, so it's difficult to go through. I know in the past, Nats usually is so focused on running the events that he's not particularly practiced for it, and yeah, Ogetsuga is not doing too hot either. Let's hop on board with Mobius, who's actually doing pretty good overall. I mean, he's like, what, in 5th place currently in the seedings? Not 5th place, 8th place in regards to this round, but that's okay. If you can get a couple of really good rounds in there. Well, currently, I say that he's not doing the best in this round, and he passes like 3 people. But the ending is right up here. Noisia finally gets a first place in a round. I don't know if that was his very first of the day, but it feels like it. He's been crashing nonstop. Rookie, again, putting up some good points. Oh, dear. That's a DNF. Unfortunate. Mobius actually overtaking Noisia there, despite the fact that Noisia won the round. Don't know how that math works out, but you know, all's well that ends well. Noisia trying to battle his way up the rankings. Granted, it's just the top 8 make it to Div 1, and from there I don't think it really matters to these higher level players. Matt, that is not the line, so he's gonna go flying off and not exactly have the best of points. Charles, not too far behind Noisia though. Oh, there's Nats. Not doing too bad this round. Currently only behind Noisia and Charles, which is a pretty solid feat, all things considered. Fjorton and Gutsuga trailing a little ways behind Nats, looking to overtake his former Duo Cup teammate Charles, but I don't think that's going to happen this time around, and now the positions stay pretty much the same. That was, what, round 2? Round 3. So we got one more round here on Gatorade. Then we'll be hopping on over to the next map, whatever that might be. I don't remember the exact map order. Let's hop on board with Palau. That's a name that I have seen in previous South American Cups, but I don't think they've ever really contended up there, usually towards like the middle of the pack. And I mean, currently, yeah, battling it out for 8th place, which is the cutoff for Div 1 and Div 2. And Div 1's where the prize money's at, so I mean, hey, if you want a chance at that, top 6, I believe, get at least a little bit of prize money. So there is a decent chance, the odds are with you, that if you can get into Div 1, you're going to walk away with, I think it's like $15 for 5th and 6th place. Actually, everyone's crashing. They have quite a few spots given to Palau there on a silver platter. All he has to do is play clean. You don't need to be first place, Matt. That's a light pole. And Palau walks away with 5th. He was trailing in like 9th, 10th that entire round, and just through the mistakes of others. Do nothing and win. It's the Steam method. Either way, that's the end of Gatorade. We're going to be moving on over to some other map. We'll see. I don't remember the exact map order, but it doesn't matter because we're going to see it in like 2 seconds. Coming on over to Alex Shear Body Pillow. Alex currently fighting with Palau for that 8th place spot. Once everything loads, let's hop on board with the man, the myth, the legend. The Enner temporary replacements, I suppose. I don't know of any other players from Ecuador that have been around. Again, brief warm-up, so you can only see a little bit of the beginning of the map here before we get into the actual rounds where the points do matter. Slightly different lines for everyone in the start, and I think Alex, despite having the namesake of his own map, is starting off not exactly the best. He's gonna have to claw his way back up into some amount of points here. I didn't really notice if Palau is in that blob of names up front. It's certainly possible. Who just died? Completely died. Went utterly off the map. Lingo, thank you very much for the raid. Just in time to watch South American shenanigans and Alex. This is the South American Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and welcome. This is just the seeding phase, so you joined in at a good time. Alex fake flagging. From what I've heard, true. But he's also here just to make it a solid 16 players, to make the math for the TOs, just a little bit easier. Alex is currently also in the mud for the map that is his namesake. Alex Sheer Body Pillow is the map name. Currently, if my mouse will allow me to scroll up, you can see Charles, Noisy, and Matt, rookie, up towards the top of the points. Charles kind of separating himself from everyone else by this point. He's had a couple of really good rounds here and there, whereas everyone else has been crashing every now and then. Noisia and Matt seem to be doing it rather consistently. Rookie's pretty consistently in like the top 4, not really crashing as much, but when those other, aforementioned 3 are not crashing, he's not getting those first places. So, a little bit of a difficult uphill battle here, but realistically, if you're looking for that Div 1 position, then you really just want to get into the top 8, which currently all 4 of those players are. Noisia has a pretty clean round so far. Gutsuga also a name that's been up towards the front pretty consistently. Noisia keeping it clean, coming up to the final approach. A little bit dicey there. I think he's going to lose some speed, but he does barely maintain that first place in the round. I saw this name. I've never seen this player before. Another Colombian player. Love to see new faces, new names. Eblex, that's not how you reach the finish line. Finthex, new Colombian player, at least from what I've seen. Who knows how long he's been around, but I don't recognize the name from any previous South American Cups. Most of the South Americans don't play in the other larger NCSA stuff. You can see people crashing left and right in the background. But currently, a new name, unless it's someone who name changed and I'm just not familiar, but all of the notable Colombians that I know of are here. I mean, you have Fjorton, you have Charles, you have Eblex. Those are like the only 3 that I know that are consistently participating in things. But I mean, hey, again, new name, to me at least. He's in 2nd place. He's not doing too bad at all. A little bit of a rough gear there, but I mean, yeah, okay, rough line there. I was going to say, looking at the splits, he was pretty good, and now he's, fighting for that top half in the round. Raptor, that's actually another newer name from what I've seen. Nailed it. Don't ask questions. We roll with it, and Noisia rolls. Apparently he's the only one who rolled into the finish line cleanly, because everyone else was like 2 seconds behind. I don't know why or how, but we got there. Again, folks, in my opinion at least, this and then the Manex map, the Alvi Verde, is probably the 2 most difficult maps in the map pack. So once we're done with this one, all the crazy transitions and tight precision parts that you can see very obviously that everyone is just dying on. Once we get past that, the rest of the map pack should be a little bit easier. It's like every single turn someone dies, just slightly off camera. There's a lot of speech bubble moments, as we were. There's quite a few clips that I'm sure can be made. Gutsuga, that is not the line, that is a wall. So Palau, again, like a couple rounds ago on a different map, is just chilling. Matt, I don't know where he came from, but he's back. He was almost gone again, as he almost decided to get really well acquainted with a light pole. But we're coming into the final approach here. Palau has the better speed, takes a solid 4th place. I thought he was in like 6th place, but free points, I guess. And even Raptor managed to overtake Matt. I don't know what's happening. And Alex doesn't finish on the last round of his own namesake. So it's just pure chaos. Welcome to NCSA, folks. Yes, North America is just as crazy, but they're not playing today. They played last week. Coming into this, which map is this? Oh, this is Alvi Verde. Right. We haven't gotten to this because we were waiting for the players to hop into the lobby. So this is the Manex map. I don't know why he decided to change to Mora Pardal, but that's in line with one of his other name changes, so we're just gonna roll with it. I know that's Manex because it was in one of the announcements, otherwise I would have been like, who the hell is this? I ignored, I think that was Noisia on his roof. This is the warm-up. We're still good. Eblex trying to see the viability of this map backwards. I feel like at a certain point that would no longer be viable because you could see towards the end there's an underwater reactor section, and reactor up doesn't really like to cooperate underwater. So This is probably the other hardest map in the pack. Currently, Matt was up in the lead, but you have Gutsugo, who got far and away the best bug slide out of the bunch. But it's really the usual suspects that are running away with this up towards the front. I can believe this is it's the second to last map, so one of the other more simple maps is coming up after this, which is probably going to be a breath of fresh air after having, again, in my opinion, the two hardest maps in the pack back-to-back in seeding, you know, so it's not the highest of stakes, but I mean, these maps are the only ones, and Noisia is having some trouble. I don't know what happened, but he clipped somewhere along the lines, and he's still in third place because literally everyone else is even worse off in the mud. Charles is just vibing though. I mean, currently he's moisturized, maybe a little bit less so now, and once again, Rookie, that was a beautiful overtake. Almost exactly 100. The pure speed. I respect it, Tukey. That was great. That was clean. Charles obviously clipped there towards the end. But I mean, hey, you take those. Free points. It's free real estate. And, well, Rookie might not be able to overtake for second or first in the seeding, but he's getting close to third place. Matt's not been having the absolute best of times on the last couple of maps, especially the last map. He was flying off the side pretty consistently. So, okay. Not the most speed coming out of it, but it put him in a pretty good position. A very risky bug slide approach, but I mean, he's still up there, and Fjorton is very much not up there. I'm pretty sure that's who I saw just utterly die going into that section. Someone just completely face planted, and well, Rookie currently battling it out. I would say for first. I mean, him and Matt and Noisia are all like right next to each other. Charles not too far behind, and looks like Nats and Gutsuga are not too far behind either. No one seems to be touching the water there. We would definitely know if they got water and then hit the grass with the water wheels. That would just be death and a half. But Matt, far and away, 57.3. Pretty solid winning time. I'm pretty sure last round was 57.29. That seems pretty fast. I don't remember what the world records are. I don't have them up on my screen right now. But that will allow Matt to remove himself from the threat of losing third place. At least for now. Let's hop on board. Let's find Nats again. Never mind, I can't find him. We're going to hop on board. There he is. Reading is difficult in the moment. Nats with the air skin. Currently battling it up towards third-ish place, fourth place now. Fighting with Fjorton, but a little bit of a distance between him and everyone else. Okay, now he's back into third place. Just a, delayed reaction. I don't know if that counts as a caster blessing. I don't know where Charles is. He's in the mud somewhere, probably. There's enough water on this map to make it possible. Woo, that's kind of close to the right side wall there, but that's okay. Maintains the line. Recalibrates, and I don't think he's really going to be threatened by too much. Alex is... Nats. Please. Please. There's Charles, by the way. Speak of the devil. Nats does walk away with 5th place at the very least. It wasn't the most catastrophic thing in the world. I think the reactor really saved him there. But it's okay. He got 5th. Doing pretty solid. And that... Actually, I think Nats might be stuck in Div 2 with Alex. Just looking at it, because Berg... I'm just going to say Berg. I'm sorry. Trying to enunciate names I've never seen before is quite difficult on the fly. But, I mean, someone just utterly failed that transition. Didn't quite have the speed. Berg here. Berg Souza. Okay, it's easier to read with the capitalized letters in the actual name, and I think that was Alex. I don't think anyone else in this lobby has the Halcyon tag, so he's getting a little bit too well acquainted with a pole or a wall or something along those lines. Berg Souza is... what just happened? Like 3 people die that one whole transition. Berg overtaking Matt. He must have clipped somewhere along the line because he lost all the speed that there possibly could have been. Okay, Berg's just gifted 5th place from like 11th 30 seconds ago. Nat's actually winning the round even. And like almost none of the usual suspects are up towards the top. Matt somehow still managed to get 4th. Despite all of that, Alex 6th. I don't know where Noisia is. I don't think he knows where he is. But that's okay because we're finally done with the hard maps. Now we're going over to... Oh god, I don't remember what the name of the last one is. We'll find out in like 2 seconds. Already did Gatorade. But this one is a lot simpler. Cinderwake, yes. This one is by Basto, featuring Wee Relics. Wee Relics? I don't know. Currently, Fjorton in the hot seat. As you can see, he's only 6 points separating him and Nats. And, I mean, again, top 8 is the cutoff for Div 1. So Mr. Former PO Tech is currently battling for his chance at some prize money. You know, again, 5th and 6th place, if memory serves, get like 15 bucks out of the prize pool. But he's going to need to get a couple of good rounds under his belt, and I mean, that's a good start with Nats crashing out right there, but Fjorton does it 2 turns later. So they're neck and neck. I guess not too shocking considering they're right next to each other in the overall standings. And this is the last map of the seeding. Finthex gets the wrong side of a pole there and has to completely release, but avoids a terrible crash like Palau just did. Charles looking to catch back up to Matt Noisia in the front, but Fjorton, that is not how you take the outside dirt. Currently still into the fray of things, Rookie has a decent amount of speed, slowly overtaking Fjorton. I'm not sure how much more track there is remaining for anyone to overtake, really. Noisia just rockets away as Matt is now fighting back his 2nd place from Charles. I don't know if they're really going to have the opportunity to change positions up too much as we're coming up to the final approach. Well, Fjorton does get an extra position there. Rookie trying to overtake, but I don't think there's very much track remaining. And a 103.9 is the winning time, but it seems like 106 low to mid is like the average time here. But overall, good round for Fjorton. Let's hop on board with someone we haven't seen in a little bit. Let's do Gatsuga, or Gotsuga as his current rename is. Been up towards the front pretty consistently. I mean, he's like, what, 5th place? Yeah, 5th place overall. Mobius in 6th. Relatively safe in terms of the overall points. I mean, you need someone towards the middle of the pack to just not finish around at this point, and like you have to get probably a top 3, top 4 in order to really overtake into the Div 1 position. Apparently no one in South America besides like Noisia and Rookie apparently know how to do outside dirt, because that was a huge amount of speed from Rookie from what I saw pre starting up the stream in the in-game chat. Rookie didn't practice too much offline, but a little bit here and there, a couple hours. I don't know how much online training he did, but he definitely seems practiced. He's putting up a pretty darn good fight here. Although Noisia looks like he's going to be taking 1st place. Rookie holds on to 2nd, just barely. Charles was on his neck. And, well, we're halfway done with the last map of the bunch. Let's see, as Fjorton is really starting to pull away. Even actually in 2nd or 7th place. Where it's actually Berg Souza, who's technically in the hot seat, but he's also relatively safe is what I was gonna say, but now Nats has a serious chance. He is fighting for that position in Div 1 on top of running the actual event, although I'm sure Gabo's hopping in and out trying to do a lot of the logistics to take the pressure off of Nats as per usual. Our Orgas overwork themselves on top of trying to play. So it can be a bit of a mess sometimes, but currently Nats in a slightly less than safe 8th place. I can see just by the splits over in the middle bottom right-ish of the screen that Mobius is not too far behind. Nats coming up onto Alex, and actually will overtake with a slight bonk there from Mr. Axel Shear, although he found a little bit extra speed there. Nats gets a slightly better outside dirt line. Alex going for the inside approach, but gets a little bit too well acquainted with the light pole there. That's essentially there to tell you to not hit the light pole, but you know, it's a light pole, not a cop. It can't stop you from living your dreams of high velocity carnage, even if you are a part of the carnage. It looks like the positions are rather stable now as we're coming on to the final round of the final map here in seating. Let's hop on board with Charles. Currently in that second place position, pretty safe. I don't think there's anything that could possibly happen that would make him lose second place. I don't think he's going to be able to overtake first. I don't think he's going to be able to lose drop down to third place in the overall seedings, but I mean, like, these are the players that you obviously expected to get into Div 1. It's really towards the middle of the pack that are fighting for their lives, but even those positions are starting to stabilize quite a bit. Rookie, again, really impressing me so far in the seeding. Just keeping up with these top players, which, you know, in tournaments past and years past, always felt like a big barrier to him, and right now he's doing really good. He's consistent, he's fast. Will that be able to stay once we hit the 1v1s? Charles. It doesn't really matter. Again, he's like so locked into second place, it just doesn't matter. But it's still funny. Actually, no, he would have been able to overtake Noisia, but he would have needed to win the round and then Noisia to not. Essentially to do what Charles just did. So, we're done with seeding. You can see the positions right there, down to 16th place. That is going to be all said and done for now. The seating is all set. Let me just double check. It's probably going to take a minute for everything to get calculated, but we might be able to allow me to run over to wherever they have the ECM. Might be able to take a look at what they got cooking over there, because I believe that populates automatically, usually. Okay, I'll just show you what I'm looking at. It's a lot easier than trying to explain. So, we have, yeah, good stuff. So it's, I think, in the process of calculating stuff currently. So it knows the players that showed up, but that's about it. So I think for now, we're going to send it off to a short break while everyone is getting everything sorted out, allow the TOs to figure out what's going on, where the 1v1s are happening, and so on and so forth. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back in a few short minutes after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we're going to be getting into the group stage in just a little bit. I actually did find a site, brand new website as far as I'm aware. So this is fascinating. I'm going to see how well I can screen share this with you all. Okay, perfect. It does show up. So it shows up kind of. Let's see. Let me just extend this a little bit. There. There we go. This is apparently a new website that is for NCSA that apparently, there we go. It's driving me crazy. That has like all the brackets and whatnot, and you can see the seating right here. Not sure who cooked this up, but whoever did, good stuff overall. You can see the final results of the seating right here. Nothing too crazy. Group stage, again, it'll load up. You can see Div 1 right here. I'm thinking, just looking at these matchups here in round 1 over here, that the Gutsiga versus Charles 1v1 is probably going to be the most interesting. So if I bring it back in game, go over to room number 4, I'm thinking we're probably going to get the matchup we're looking for. Ah, okay, that is... Never mind, we're good. Crisis averted. Although I'm not sure if we're actually going to be waiting till the turn of the hour. If that is the case, then I'm going to send it back over to break, or maybe just waffle on for a little while longer, who knows. But let's, actually, while we're here, what I can do, I can waffle for at least a little bit. Just checking the Discords, both NCSA and the South American Discord, to make sure there's no crazy announcements that I'm missing, but it doesn't look to be the case. So what I can do, let me just go to resources and we can open up the rulebook and we can go over what we're going to be seeing in the 1v1, because that is a little bit different from what we've seen in the past, especially with like NAC from last weekend. So I mean, we have, where is the format? I forget the exact points allocation. I want to make sure I'm getting that right. Yeah, okay, so here it is. I was pretty sure it was this, but had to make sure. So here you can see the rule book. I know literally no one reads. We do have, so points limit 4. So basically it's going to be 1v1 on, I guess, one map. Yeah, because ban, 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 and then decide. Interesting. So it's not going to be multiple maps. It's just going to be the higher seed ban, then the lower seed ban, and then the higher seed ban, lower seed ban, yada yada. And then we're going to have one map at the end of it. Actually, no, it'll be higher seed, then lower seed bans 2, and then higher seed bans 1, and then we get into the actual one map, and it's going to be a first of 5 round wins, 20-second warm up, yada yada. So a little bit different from what we've seen in the past. Again, the match that we're going to be spectating, unless Chad has any like severe desire to watch any of the other ones, this one just seemed like the most close. Like if I go back to the screen share and show the bracket, because it's, you know, it's going to be this round 1. We're sticking with Div 1 for now, because that's where like the stakes are. So we have Noisia and Nats. I feel like Noisia is the obvious favorite there. No offense, Nats, but you know, you're so busy hosting the event. It usually seems to be the case, plus it's Noisia. Matt versus Fjorton could be interesting, but I feel like Matt's the more likely favorite, just, you know, given the fact that he was keeping up with Noisia and Charles in the seedings. He hasn't lost his touch, as it turns out. Rookie versus Mobius could be close. I don't know. And then, you know, Gutsiga versus Charles, I think should probably be close, with Charles being the favorite. But I mean, like, chat, anyone at home want to see any of these matches with a burning passion in their heart? Because otherwise I feel like the, you know, this round 4, the Gutsiga versus Charles, probably has the best chance of putting up some good rounds. Especially with Charles more or less learning these maps on the go. So, yeah, either way. we have that. Let me just check the Discord real fast and we can see. Looks like nothing's really going on quite yet. So I might actually, I don't want to set it to another break because I saw the rooms were open up, but we might be giving the players a chance to breathe. So I think for now, oh, you know what we could do actually while we're waiting? We can go in game and just check out some of the world records, right? Because I didn't really get a chance to do that previously. Don't even have to leave the club to get there. It's all within the South American Club if you want. If you have club version of, or the paid access, I don't know what they call the paid access version of this game anymore, but if you have the paid version of Trackmania 2020, then you can play these maps for yourselves and see just how difficult some of these maps are. We'll just look at the world records here. This is Alviverde, Mintz, who I believe got like 3rd place last week in NAC. Correct me if I'm wrong, I was not home for that one, so it's only so much that I could pay attention to, and I just more or less caught the results briefly. You can see nothing too crazy here. It's just a crazy map that you just have to drive clean. There's not a ton of, like, you know, borderline khaki or RPG tricks. It's just like, yeah, string these extremely precise sections together in a way that maintains speed. A couple of like small bug slides here and there, but I mean for the most part it's just like drive clean, which is easier said than done when it's mapped by Mannix, because the dude is really good at the game and likes to push all of the players to their breaking point, sometimes literally. His maps have a bit of a reputation in NCSA. I don't know if he's ever mapped for outside of NCSA, but either way, you know, 56.9, so really like a low 57, which I believe we were seeing like mid to high 57s in rounds for seeding. You know, seems to be like the really fast approach. Cinderweave, I believe it was called. Cinderwake. I was close. Nope, not that. EULAs are unfair. I actually have no idea who this player is. I saw their name and I know they're from the United States. I don't know who. Flimsy, maybe? Flimsy, is this you? Because I don't see Flimsy in the other leaderboards. But yeah, HDN. The word that comes to mind is hidden, so like maybe they wanted to go incognito. But they're from the United States. Cackney, maybe? I guess? I haven't seen Cackney in any of these leaderboards. But either way, Cinderwake, also again like a rather simple map. Overall, it's just like pure pace, drive fast, win. I wouldn't be shocked if the pace maps are the ones that end up getting chosen. Although, hard to say because the players don't get picks for the 1v1s, it's all bans. So if someone really doesn't feel like driving pace, then they can just ban both of the pace maps against the higher seed. Again, like, there's some tricky parts here. Yeah, someone like me would absolutely struggle, but a lot of these players are not going to be struggling. I mean, like, for them, it's just pure pace, which personally I find a lot of fun to watch because it's like, oh, how close to world record can these players push? And I mean, if you look at the, you know, the top 5 in the world, they're all within like a 1/10.5 from each other, give or take. Again, if anyone in chat knows who EULAs are unfair is, please let me know, because I'm just morbidly curious at this point. And I believe we are just delaying until the turn of the hour. Dot, a name that we don't really see super often. I don't know if they've played in NAC last week. I mean, based on the times they're putting up on this map at the very least. This one is the Legionary? Yeah, Legionary by Casitas. This is like the middle of the pack map, which also happens to be the 3rd map in the pack, so literally dead center in terms of difficulty and placement in the campaign itself. 103 low being a pretty solid time on this one. Somewhat difficult. Feels like a 2022-23 era comp map, which, you know, back in the day started to get a little bit old because every single map in the world felt like it was this style. But nowadays we have so many more styles that are being tossed in there. You're seeing a lot of like mini RPG mechanics thrown into comp maps, so this is actually kind of refreshing to see. Kind of funny how that works. Get so sick of something and then give a little bit of time away from it, and suddenly it's kind of nice again. Dot here, of course, I don't know how they didn't lose speed there, but they didn't, so I mean, hey, really solid run there. Enough to get world record. Let's just gonna double check. I want to make sure we're not missing anything. That would be this room. Just want to make sure. Don't want to miss any of the action. But I'm not seeing anything go on. Okay, so we do actually have Gutsuga waiting in the lobby, but again, we're just want to make sure. The anxiety would kill me otherwise. So let's hop over to Gatorade. Again, we've seen all these maps, but now we can actually see like what the best of the best are driving in regards to their times. Drive alone, Wiggity. Again, a lot of North American players have the records here. Noisia pops up here and there. I don't think Charles is on any of these top fives, at least not yet. Give him like, a day, and maybe that'll change. But for the most part, yeah, it's a lot of North Americans, which makes sense because NAC just happened last weekend. If there was going to be some really solid times being put up, especially in rounds, it would be from last weekend. It's just kind of the benefit of getting your tournament first. Really clean outside dirt. In this map, I think there's another outside dirt somewhere along the line towards the end. And those really seem to give quite a bit of speed, but otherwise, again, rather simple map. Just like drive clean, pace-based. Nothing too precise, nothing too crazy. But I think that's nice to have, a good mixture. Honestly, like, since, at the very least, the start of this year, if not, like, fall of last year, the NCSA mapping teams and the admins who are doing the curation for these map packs honestly have done a stand-up job. I know there was some tension within the player base for a while there with, some players that will not be called out on this stream. But, there were some opinions being thrown around about the map packs, and I think it really changed for the better in recent times. And then obviously this last map by Rabi featuring Prow. And Nixotica has the world record again. More NCSA players. Again, whoever knows who Eula's Are Unfair is, I really want to know. 55 mid being a really solid time on this map, so like 56 anything being pretty darn fast. I mean, we saw how much the players struggled on this map in seeding. Nix drove this in rounds. I am not surprised by that. He's really good at these kinds of weird maps that just have like so much going for them. So much to keep track of, and to just string together all these really difficult sections into one go. It's really up his alley. And I mean, if you ever played a Nix map, has Neil played this? I have no idea. Probably not. I don't think Neil has been playing a lot of the NCSA circuit stuff recently. He's been focusing pretty hard on like the Elite Cups, which, fair. There's quite a big prize pool if you can make it into the EWC or ENC. But that is the unless Neil is Eula's Are Unfair, but I don't think so. Yeah, but those are the 5 maps. We're going to hop back over to this because the players are probably going to be hopping into it. We're just going to be hopping on board with the 1v1 versus Gutsuga and Charles. My guess is that's going to be the closest. They are currently both in the lobby. Just chilling. Got about 2 minutes remaining. Start of the hour is when it's scheduled. Actually, looking at the world records, it was like the perfect delay. Besides going to break, which I try to avoid if I come back from break and then send you to another break. That'd just be mean. But we're gonna just come on through. Charles is good, seen him in a lot of Elite Cups. Yeah, it's him and Noisia who are more or less the shoe-ins. I'm trying to hype you up, man. Stop crashing. But him and Noisia are going to be like the two that are more than likely going to get the South American qualifiers into EWC, which is probably why they both got signed to rather large orgs. This map looks so cool. Yeah, well, this is a Manox map. He name changed to Mora Pardal. Manox, if you're not familiar, is one of the most unhinged people in our lovely region here. He's a blast to be around, and he's, if you ask the players, he's less of a blast to play his maps, but he's a really good player. And he shows it by making maps that it feels like only he can play at a high level. Yeah, so it's always fun whenever he does map for NCSA stuff. Not all the time, but, every tournament here and there, we get a Manox map, and we are blessed as viewers, less so as players, to experience the chaos. As this ain't easy. If you have a paid version of the game, you can try it out for yourself, and it is hard. It is very hard. Couple more seconds remaining. Then we'll have a 20-second warm-up after this, and then it should be a 1v1. I don't know if we're playing on this map specifically. Charles will get the chance to ban one map, and then Gutsuga, or Gotsuga as his nickname is, will get the chance to ban 2 maps, and then Charles will ban 1 more map. Okay, yeah, so we get to actually see the pick ban here. Charles gets the chance to ban... Oh, wait, no, was Gutsuga the higher seed? I thought... Interesting. This is easier for consistency than Cinderwake. I could see that, because Cinderwake is very like pace-based, so you just have to send it so hard. But we'll have to see. As Charles, I thought he was going to get the chance to ban first, but they might have messed up the seating or something. I have no idea. We'll find out after this short break. Kidding. Let's see. Doesn't want to let me pull up chat. Probably because the UI in the ban phase. Charles was driving, unless he's trying to talk to the admins, be like, hey, is this an annual thing? The South American Cup is usually semi-annual. It's usually like 2 or 3 times a year. I think recently they've been shooting for 2 times a year. Same with the North American Cup. And then the Pan American recently has been an annual thing that they'll take like the top few players from the North American and the South American Cups, and then usually... I don't want to say usually. In recent times, I don't remember if they've had an open qualifier. I think they wanted it to be more exclusive to, like, you have to actually show up to other events in order to qualify for the Pan American, which is like our big premier regional event. Not quite sure what's going on. Let's see if I can do that and then see. I don't see that. Okay, cool. So I guess we'll just have to wait a little bit. Don't know if I can bring back up. Okay. Okay, so we're just waiting, apparently. It's not letting Charles... Oh! Okay, popped back up. So we're gonna... we actually are. Okay. I'm not sure how that works, but we're apparently playing on this map that we were watching them warm up on, funnily enough. So they're going to have a brief warm-up once the match is done starting. And then it's going to be essentially just the one map. Going to play 5 rounds. Not, well, potentially more than 5 rounds. A player needs to win 5 rounds in order to win. 4 to get finalist and then 1 to close out finalist. And then we're just going to have a bunch of 1v1s from here. Obviously Charles is the favorite, given the circumstances. But at the same time, from what I've heard, through the grapevine, thank you Flimsy, that Charles is not as practiced, probably was focusing on the Elite Cups and whatnot. So Gutsuga, having, you know, shown a pretty solid performance in the seedings, has a decent chance. But we'll have to see. Because Charles, well, he's one of the best players in the South American region, really just in the Americas in general, for a reason. So the longer he has to play these maps, even if it's in rounds, he's going to get more and more dangerous. And today is rather low stakes, because this is not for elimination or anything like that. This is just the rounds phase to essentially get seeding into the bracket for tomorrow. So, first round. Again, essentially first to 5. Once they get 4 points, you'll see the finalist logo pop up on their car. Charles currently in the lead. It's a lot easier to spectate when it's only 2 players. Especially when they're both good and they don't crash. Don't jinx it. That's not a caster curse. You're not allowed to. Okay, that, yeah. That happened so much after I said it, I'm not going to count it as a caster curse. Listen, I gotta talk. That's what I'm here to do. These players gotta, you know, put up their dream catchers, put on the tinfoil hat, whatever is necessary to avoid the caster curse. I take no responsibility. I made the tournament organizers sign an liability agreement. As, well, it's 1 round. And Charles should be able to just walk this one in. Yep, sure enough, a little bit of a slide there. I believe it was like 56 high was the fast times on this map. But 58 mid is good enough. You know, you don't need to risk it. You just walk it in. Charles needs 4 more, I believe. Yeah, I think points limit. Well, we'll see. If he hits 3 points and he hits finalist, then that means it's only to 4 points. But I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be first to 5. Pretty sure how this works, but who the hell knows with Comp Tool. Ooh, Gutsuga gets a much better bug slide exit, and Charles such low speed that he clips just a little bit of a brake tap there from Gutsuga to avoid the same mistake as last time around. Doesn't have to risk too much, but he can't play it too safe either, because Charles is not too far behind. You can see he's pushing it. He gained a 10th in one checkpoint, and it looks like he might gain another, and this checkpoint, and Gutsuga clips and then crashes trying to risk it. So that is going to be another round for Charles, barring... Jesus, man, he almost clipped there. And he did clip there. Okay, so Gutsuga is like 5 seconds behind. I don't think that's going to matter. But it was a good attempt. Good effort. Given the circumstances of who he's facing, pretty solid performance. The pressure is obviously there. Worth noting as well that overall, these players are playing for, you know, the top 2 spots more than just the prize money, which is nice, of course. But the top 2 spots will get automatic invitations into the Pan American towards the end of this year, I believe. They usually like to do it towards the end of each year. So there is that as well. Currently Gutsuga putting up a decent fight, but can't quite keep it as clean. Gets a good amount of speed. You can see he has a lot more speed than Charles there coming out of the bug slide. He just has that section better. He is the bug slide GOAT. But Charles is, some might say, the overall GOAT of South America. So it's quite a bit of pressure on Gutsuga's shoulders right now, as Charles is not giving it up easy. And I think that was a clip. That was definitely a clip. And is this respawnable? I don't actually know, but that's going to be the round. Charles going up 3-0. Now it's a small clip, but it doesn't matter. There's 5 seconds separating them. He can just walk it in. Now, I know the last round was like a 59-1, 59 flat, something like that. I don't think that crash will really matter. But yeah, no, every single round so far has been slower and slower than the previous one. If you're against Charles, you're done for. For this match, yeah. Although, you know, when this is a round robin, every player in Div 1, like Noisia and Matt, are also going to be facing Charles, so I think those matches are going to be a lot closer, and we're definitely going to be watching those when those happen. But, yeah, so far, I'm not claiming Cast a Curse on that one. I didn't even say anything yet. Unfortunately, you know, this map is hard to survive to begin with, like we said. In the warm-up, it's pretty cooked. It's a Manox map. But then on top of that, having to survive with some amount of pace. Okay. Okay! We have a game on. Manox, if you're watching this, you did this. God, I hope you're proud. I can hear him laughing already. Okay, well, Gutsuga, it was only a matter of time before he was gifted one. It's, Charles is 2 away from the match victory, but will not get that clean sweep. Actually, I don't even think Charles will finish this round. He's... Yes, okay. Good golf clap. Good stuff. Reverse sweep, go. I guess it's not a full reverse sweep. Charles wasn't on finalist yet. But now the real question, was it just a brief hiccup or the start of, I don't want to say catastrophe, there's really no stakes to this other than, you know, seeding into the overall bracket tomorrow. I think Charles might have clipped there. At the very least, Gutsuga definitely got a better bug slide exit. Seems to be pretty consistent out of him. He's definitely practiced that and just seems to be better at it overall. Speed has stabilized out of the reactor bug slide there. But Charles getting these turns just a little bit better. keeping it a lot closer. We might actually have a close round on our hands, although it's slowly increasing the increments between them. Charles is just faster on the normal sections of this map. But we have seen before Charles grind his wheels across the side of the road there, but not quite the case this time around. And hey, look at that. 57.6. If someone crashes nuts on me, I take no responsibility. Yep, okay, so it is first to 5. Had to make sure. But now is the time, if ever, for Gutsuga to really show his stuff. He's got decent pace, but he's got to push it. That's the difficult part. He has a much better bug slide exit in most cases, and Charles is straggling behind, but as we've seen in the normal sections, he is faster. He can usually gain up to like a 10th each checkpoint. Gutsuga gets a much better bug slide, but that's kind of normal. But now we're coming into this section here, where it's really just clean driving. And Charles, almost exactly 1/10 gained in just one checkpoint. It's going to be yet another, more or less, a little bit less this time around, going super inside. I don't think he gets the water wheels. Maintains the grip on the grass section, Gutsuga. I respect the risk. I respect the risk. He had to. This was a really good round. I don't think that slight touch is going to matter, especially because Charles did the exact same thing. And Gutsuga finishing it out with a 58.2. Not a bad time at all. Not the cleanest round, but not the worst round we've seen so far. And, well, 4-2. Charles needs 5. Just one more round, but Gutsuga definitely has the stronger bug slide exits. You could see how much more speed he gets out of that. I don't even understand where he's finding that speed. It's just he understands that angle that he needs. But Charles, yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Charles does get a small clip here, so it's going to be pretty awkward. But overall, that's not quite as awkward as Gutsuga's faceplant. He's really trying to make it close. Avoid the clip. Gutsuga is very much back in this. Charles loses quite a bit of speed, but he does maintain the lead for now. They do need to avoid clipping the side of the wall here in the loop, and Gutsuga bonks. I don't even know what that was. The barrier, I guess. It was a great attempt for the sloppiest round of the entire match so far, but that will be Charles walking away with the win here. I feel like that was probably the only match that was still going on, but let's double check. Let's see if anything's going on. Okay, so we have a couple of rounds going on in Div 2. I have no idea who's playing in this. We're going to hop in. This is one of the Div 2 matches. Oh. There we go. Oh god, I didn't mean to pick Alex's match, but yeah. So far he's on the back foot. We're on Legionary in like the middle ground map between the two, and Alex looks to be tying it up. Where? Yes, okay. So never mind. Z Fair Lady is now is now a finalist. It was a great like final approach there. Average Legionary round. Yes, I know. I really do like this map, but I think part of that reason is because I don't have to play it. that tends to happen. You know, there's a reason I'm here in the caster booth and not playing, because these players are significantly better than me. Despite the crash, I would still say Alex is a better player. What are you doing? Nah, dude. Clip it and ship it. Average NCSA Trackmania moment. Where? Okay. Oh god. Alex, please. Win the round. Keep this going. Oh god. Letting Alex play in the South American Cup is the best decision they've ever made. Come on, man. Oh god. Z Fair Lady is, on top of being a rather new name to me, unless it's a rename of someone I've heard of before, it's still quite far behind. Alex, the honorary Ecuadorian, I suppose, hailing all the way from Delaware. Is he still in Delaware now? I don't know if he's moved around for work or whatnot, but we are now 4-3. Alex has the chance to make it a double finalist and make all of our dreams come true, and I'm sure shoot his blood pressure up through the roof. Oh, God. His blood pressure. You know, there are certain things that I refuse to take responsibility for, and that's one of them. I wasn't even talking about Z Fair Lady. Alex gets a nose slide and just fully smashes the brake, and it works. He's like 5 seconds ahead. So, I mean, we're going into double finalists and just chilling, you know? Just no pressure, which means all the pressure, as the separation between Alex and Z Fair Lady is quite large now. And it's only getting worse. Less so for Alex. That's, I just realized that must be a new Halcyon skin. It looks pretty good, as he does everything in his power to scratch it up, I suppose. He doesn't like the paint job. Whoever made the skin, I'm sorry, you have to see such carnage. It's the, you know, the president and CEO of Halcyon. It's just not quite as pleased. Please. Please. Are you kidding me? They both... No. Nah, dude. Oh my god. Oh god. Wild Comet, you stand corrected. This is the best round ever. Who wants it less? Oh my god. How do we follow that up? How do we follow that up? Is the other game still going on? I would be shocked. Yeah, no. Okay, so we're... Oh, God. Ladies and gentlemen, the next round of matches is set to start at like 20 minutes after the hour, 4:20 for me. But I think we need to send it to a quick break just to, you know, recompose, let Alex discover whatever the heck just happened and maybe fix it, or, you know, just keep on keeping on, man. I don't know. We'll be right back in just a few quick minutes. Don't go anywhere. Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a couple of minutes here before we get into the next round. Again, it's supposed to start 20 minutes after the hour, so about 1 minute by my clock right now. If we go over to the website, we can see, just following along with Div 1, you can see the results from the previous matches, as well as Div 2, if you really want to see that. And coming into this next one, we have Matt versus Charles, Gutsuga versus Rookie. Could be a good match. We have Nats versus Mobius, Fjorton versus Noisia. Sorry, Fjorton, but that's kind of, Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby. I don't think that's the most controversial thing ever to say. And, what are you thinking, chat? I'm kind of thinking one of these two, which would just be following along with Charles or Gutsuga once again. Nats and Mobius could also be a good match. In fact, actually, that might be pretty good, in all honesty, because we get a full Chilean lineup. Yeah, let's go with the full Chilean setup. So that would be room number 2. Let's just hop in room number 2. I'm sure Nats will be thrilled as he's worried about 5 million other things. And then, oh, interesting. This is not the room I was looking for. Do we want to stay with Matt and Charles? Any thoughts, chat? Any thoughts between those eyes? Behind those eyes? I don't know. I blame Alex. Brain no longer working. Could be good. Yeah, I feel like it could be good either way. There's actually quite a few. And mind you, we're going to see more of these players tomorrow as well with the actual main bracket. So if we don't catch someone today, at the very least, we can more than likely catch them tomorrow. Actually, I'm thinking the matchup that I also want to see later on would be Gutsuga versus Mobius, because those are two players that I'm somewhat familiar with, but not super familiar with. And I feel like they're probably on a similar level. It's kind of like a big question mark as to who could win that one. So I think we'll stay with Matt and Charles for now. Just going to make sure we're not watching Charles' next round as well. We don't want to give anyone too much screen time. I try to even it out. Oh, is Charles still not allowed to ban? Let's check chat and see. Yep, can't ban. Never works. Can't click. Unfortunate. Comp tool just doesn't like. Doesn't like Charles. Oh well. Give it a couple of minutes and it'll pick something. I don't know. Be funny if it was Alvi Verde again and Charles is just stuck playing the 1v1 on that every time. But we'll have to see. So I guess we're just waiting on Matt to ban something. I don't know how well. I guess you can see. Gabo trying to fix the comp tool disliking Charles. I don't even know how that happens. But either way. So you have Alex Sheer Body Pillow, banned by Matt. Any plugin or something? It's just a waiting game. Oh no, they're starting to speak Spanish. Might be a minute here, folks, while we figure out what's going on. Nope. Okay, well. Okay, I think we're just doing it the old-fashioned way. And whatever Charles says in chat, so he wants to ban Alvi Verde. DNV? I don't know, they're speaking another language at this point. I can barely speak the one. So, we're just gonna be waiting. Once we actually figure out what map, I would imagine Gabo can force a map, and then we'll just kind of go from there. That's my guess, at least. Carlito Banito. He really doesn't want to play Alvi Verde. Oh, poor Charles. He's losing it. Okay, so he doesn't want to play Alvi Verde. So it's between Gatorade and Cinderwake. Okay, so we should be playing this on Gatorade. So, once this gets sorted out, there we go. Okay, yeah. So, like I thought, Gabo can force it into a map pick. So we're good. They got the map they wanted. Comp Tool still hates Charles. He better write an apology letter or something. I don't know. He pissed someone off at Nadio. And we're good. Off to Gatorade. One of the more pace-based maps, which could be quite interesting with two high-caliber players like Charles and Matt. So, brief warm-up, and then we'll get into it for real. What is Matt's skin? Can't really tell. Okay, neither are driving the warm-up. Great visuals. Hey, look at that. Just in time to start. Okay. Slight delay aside, we're getting into it. We're good to go. Again, first to 5. 2 of the highest seeded players in the tournament, barring Noisia. Charles taking a bit more of an inside line there and steals like a solid, what, 10th, maybe 2/10 ahead of Matt. Kind of trading blows back and forth with these different lines so far. And honestly, that's really interesting for such a pace-based map like this, right up until they have to risk the outside dirt. Because then you get a clip, and Matt just runs away with it. Charles, not super far behind, but I mean, like... Yes, okay, so now I think it could qualify as super far behind. As, you know, we're coming up towards the end of the map in just a little bit. And I mean, this is not exactly the hardest risky finish to hit. 54.7, that sounds fast. I believe world record was like a 53 something, like 53.9. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just kind of going off of memory here. So Charles, a little bit of, you know, shenanigans, wall touches here and there. But prior to, I don't know how he didn't clip that, but prior to, you know, the mistakes, they were trading blows back and forth with pretty different lines going inside here, outside there. I think as we get into tomorrow, where, you know, they're actually playing for elimination and potentially money and qualification into PATC, we might see the lines a bit more consolidated, but this is really cool to me. Okay, so I think both of them clipped, but Charles kind of grinded along the side of the wall there, so Matt runs away with it for now. will be taking a pretty clean second round for himself, barring shenanigans, but I mean, he's not really getting all that close to the wall. I don't think he needs to risk. Charles is gaining like a couple hundredths per checkpoint, but it's not really going to matter all that much because the finish is right there. And I mean, it would be a colossal throw. I could make that risky finish, and that's saying something because I haven't touched the game in like a month in terms of playing. 2-0. Matt currently up in the lead. Charles on the back foot, mostly due to his own mistakes, barring, Matt playing particularly well. Couldn't finish the sentence. I mean, Matt is playing well. He's not really crashing all that much. The one time he did, Charles also crashed in the exact same section. So, I mean, the splits are a little bit deja vu right now. So, I think the fast learn Charles tried to employ is not exactly doing too well. How did he do in Elite Cup this morning? By that was this morning, right? It's Saturday, not Sunday. I usually don't wake up in time for the Elite Cup, so I usually just watch the VOD like a day or two later. Either way, I mean, it's gonna take, Matt making a serious mistake here to gain back a second and a half. So 3-0 so far. It's first to 5, so there is time. And I don't think Charles wanted to do any kind of reverse sweep, but so far we're getting that. I thought this match would be a little bit closer. He got knocked out early. Figures. But still, depends on how early. Because if he got low 40s, potentially high 30s, that still might give him enough points to make some kind of contention for the Nations Cup. Probably not for World Cup, but then again, him and Noisy are more or less locked in for the South American representation of the World Cup. Really only a couple of people that could contest. And I mean, speaking of contesting, so far Charles has kept the round clean, does not touch the outside dirt. I think that's the very first time yeah, okay, well that's also the first time that happened. Like third round, sadly. Unfortunate, but what can you do? Again, him and Noisy are more or less locked in for the South American stuff, unless Matt really goes, head down to the grindstone to make his own case for the South American qualifiers. I don't actually know how that's going to work. Haven't read the entire rulebook yet for that. 54.3 sounds pretty fast. Again, I'm pretty sure world record's like a 53 something. But Charles does get a point on the board. And this is the fun part about these pace-based maps, because, when the rounds are clean, they're going to be like hundreds apart from each other. I should maybe say if the rounds are clean, because I don't think we've had a clean round yet. Oh, okay. Yeah. Not the worst, though. We've seen seconds separating them, and, half a second is not quite as bad. Salvageable, especially considering the dreaded outside dirt is coming up here, and Charles has really only had one time where he didn't clip it. Whew, he got dangerously close there, but so far Matt is maintaining a safe-ish distance. Pretty much a, 0.66 every single checkpoint, separating, maybe like an extra hundredth here and there, but a clip is going to make it even worse. And Charles will have an extra 3/10 of leeway to gain some position back. I was just waiting for him to fail the risky finish. I don't know why. He's used to it sometimes, man. But either way, the score line is a little bit more even now. Somehow this has not been the closest match in the world, but it also feels like the closest match in the world because they just take turns messing up. I would like to see one clean round at the very least, because I feel like it would be neck and neck the entire time. Their lines are just a little bit different. It's really interesting to watch them when they are this close. One of them goes super inside, the other goes outside for the exit speed. As I say it, they give a perfect demonstration, but Charles didn't touch, but he had to oversteer just a little bit, both taking a very risky outside line on the dirt, but they both managed to keep it alive. Matt, about 2/10, maybe a little bit less. Charles get a bit of an awkward line coming into the reactor section. Speed stabilizes. They are keeping it close. No major crashes thus far, and there's only so much remaining of the map, but that means that Charles is going to have to push the ending as much as he can. Matt gets a little bit of a wobble, and Charles says hello to the light post as Matt says goodbye. Getting up to finalist. Oh, he's got a little robot at the bottom of his car. I don't really recognize the skin. Doesn't matter, he's not going to get the points anyways. Practicing the risky approach, I suppose. But now, 4-2, Charles absolutely has the opportunity. I think he might have had a chance, but we'll never know. That light post said otherwise. Oh. Well, if there was ever a chance gifted to him on a silver platter, this is it. Not quite a... Did he lose speed from that? I can't tell. I don't think so. They're really testing each other here. See who can make the silliest mistake, because I don't think they've crashed the same place twice, minus Charles on this turn. Which he just clipped. Okay. Nailed it. Just wasn't the thing that you wanted to nail, I guess. So Charles is going to get up to 3 points. He could full crash, standing respawn, and probably still make it first for this round. Please don't hit the light post, thank you. I saw that in slow motion, and thankfully he veered away. Rookie cinema match? Well, you never know. You never know with these matches. Sometimes they're incredible, sometimes it's just a fiasco. And so far this is, I don't want to say it's cinema, but it's entertaining to some extent. And I think we'll not give Charles 3 streamed matches in a row if we can help it, so I'll move on to someone else. I'm thinking Mobius, maybe? I do, whenever it shows up in the round robin, I want to check out the Gutsuga and Mobius match, because I feel like that could be close, potentially. We'll have to see. Where is Matt? Oh, good, he's not completely out of it. And Charles, do not clip. We're good. We're good. No crashes. Charles a little bit ahead, quarter second, give or take. Matt taking a very inside line, gets more exit speed, but I'm not sure how much it really matters. Charles, I thought he clipped that pole there in the middle, but he doesn't. Maintains it, but Matt's looking for as much speed as he can possibly get. Charles gets a little bit of a wobble, but maintains, and I think that's going to be evening up the scoreline. Double finalist. Finally, clean round. Double finalist. 0.03 difference, but rookie won. Nice. Nice. And this is guaranteed to be the final round here. I don't care how much they crash. One of them is going to cross the finish line eventually. Currently, it seems like Matt is in prime position. Charles taking a very inside line. Barely dodges the wall. Not really able to gain much position, though. Looking to take a different approach here. I love these different lines. I don't know which one's faster. I think Matt's might be a little bit better. But it's borderline negligible. That was a beautiful slalom there from Charles. Overtakes and even gains like a 10th. Yeah, okay. Well, that's GG for this. But was it a good game though? Was it really? Jesus, I thought he was going straight into the light pole, but that's going to be Matt taking out Charles. Let's see if there's any other matches going on. No, actually, that was the last one. So, that is going to be that. Let's see, the next round is set to start in about 2 minutes. Looks like these are just going every 20 minutes. So, we have really just a little bit of a waiting game, waiting for the lobbies to open up. But while we're waiting, let's take a look. I'm not going to send it to break with this. Let's take a look. If I refresh the page. I love this website, by the way. I don't know who coded it, but it's cool. It's useful. Okay. So we got actually 3 matches went finalist to finalist. Mobius beating Nats. Fjorton, yeah, like I said, no offense, he was the underdog there. Let's see. Charles versus Fjorton, that's going to be one-sided. Noisia versus Mobius, that's going to be one-sided. Nats versus Gutsuga, that could be good. Rookie versus Mats, I feel like that's probably going to be one-sided, so we'll give Nats and Gutsuga a little bit of time in the spotlight. Should be room number 3. Oh, and let's take a look at the Div 2 as well, because we didn't catch any of that. Let's see. Berg Souza beating Z Fair Lady. Raptor defeating Eblex. Alex beating Palau. And then Finthex, or Finvex, I'm not sure, beating Crux Zero. Again, new names can be difficult sometimes to figure out the pronunciations, but let's hop in game. So this should be room number 3, in theory. Let's check. Should be Nats versus Gutsuga. I feel like this could be a close match. Yep, okay, so it is the correct one. So the players only have one option of lobbies to join. We technically see all of them, and we got about, 2 minutes, give or take. You can see up waiting for players. So we're just waiting for Nats, who, somewhat unsurprisingly is probably dealing with all the logistics of making sure everything is good to go. And then we'll hop into it. I would imagine, unlike Charles, these players will be perfectly fine in actually banning the maps they want. I don't know why Comp Tool doesn't like Charles, but it just doesn't. He looked at it funny, as it turns out. I wonder. Oh, it does let me go into Cam 7. Just curious. What in the world is that? That's me pressing spacebar. I don't know why it does that. Weird. Anyways, I'm just pressing things at this point, trying to kill time. We got a couple more seconds here, and Nats should be popping in. Then we will get underway. 30 seconds, Nats. Dink dunk. 1v1 time. Game time hopping. "25 seconds and counting." "10 seconds, Nats? Hello? Anyone home, please?" I mean, he's the admin, so he could literally just restart the lobby, but sure. It'll get restarted. Don't worry about that much, but... T.O. late to his own match. For shame. Yeah, so we're just waiting. Let's check the Discord real fast and see what's going on. Don't see any talk. It's impossible to say what Nats is doing. I guess I know technically they can restart it, but with the comp tool I think it can get a little bit funky, so hopefully Gutsugo doesn't finish any rounds right now, because that can get dicey, I guess. I don't know. Just waiting. There's always some kind of delay, and this time it happens to be the TO. Oh, Nats is in. He like literally just got in. Yeah. Well, at the very least, he's not driving. Okay. Okay, so they do have the ability to to restart it. That's good. So we'll go back into the pick ban, and we'll get this going for real. Gutsuga bans Alex Shear Body Pillow. No one likes that map. Apparently very few people like Legionary as well. And then Gutsuga gets to decide between Gatorade and LV Verde. I'm never going to say that fast. For whatever reason, it's a tongue twister. But we are actually going to see LV Verde, which is interesting. I wouldn't have expected the players to like that map. But, well, we know Charles doesn't, because he was like desperately trying to ban it before. The game just wasn't allowing him. But now, we're going to be getting into it. Whenever it kicks in. Just waiting. Any minute now. Any minute now. Oh, there we go. Okay. Countdown's in the chat. That's why I was like, what's happening? Oh, that's funny. So Gutsuga played, obviously we saw the first round he played LV Verde versus Charles, but I guess he also played it versus Rookie. So now he's played 3 out of 7 of these 1v1s on this map. I guess we're just waiting for the server, because it has been more than 15 seconds. I'm not sure. Usually it'll say like, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, match starting. So we're just waiting. I'm going to leave the chat open for now. Because if they're going to say anything, then, okay, hey, look at that, 10 seconds. That was the longest 5 seconds I've ever seen. There we go. Okay. We can hide the chat now. We'll go into the pre-match warm-up. And then we go into it for real. Again, first to 5 wins. That's with the air skin. Gutsuga with, I'm not sure what skin that is. Can't really read it. Either way, we've seen Gutsuga get a huge lead on Charles, let alone Nats, for the bug slide exits. So I think he has a good chance here. He said in chat earlier that he has a very good chance of choking this, but we'll see. Nats is also something of an aficionado. Just sometimes the timing lines up a little bit too well. I take no responsibility for that. That one's not me. That's just Nats doing Nats things. As, yeah, Gutsuga has a 5-second lead. He's chilling. Not much more to say, really. He could crash and be totally fine at this point. Just going up to the final approach. Got the underwater reactor into the loop, back into the underwater section. Very creative map, honestly. If nothing else, Manox knows the most creative ways possible to cause suffering for the players. And Nats will get across the finish line, just 8 seconds slower than what he probably would have liked. But it's only 1 point. Gutsuga needs 4 more rounds like that, or, better or worse, but still crossing the finish line first in order to close it out. Close out a win. And actually, I believe that would be his first win of the 1v1s of this round robin stage. Good speed coming out of it, but I think Nat's got about equal, maybe a little bit less based on how he's trailing now. Coming into it. Yeah, no, okay, so that's another 5 seconds, give or take, probably, maybe even a little bit more. As, yeah. No, only about 3.5 seconds. And that's his gaining, but, 3.5 seconds. It's hard to catch back up with that, and now he's not gaining, so I don't know. 3 points, you take those, I guess. It's a rough map. As he said himself, Gutsuga's been playing basically nothing but this map all day long, not counting the seeding. That's, I don't think, can even make the finish. Certainly not with that clip. No, he does cross the finish line. Just, you know, borderline 15 seconds too late. Clean round, maybe? So far, keeping it clean. Slightly different lines. Nat's going very inside, Gutsuga going very outside, and you can see it gives him just a little bit more exit speed. And up here is the section where Nat seems to struggle. With the precision, a little bit of a clip there, but the reactor does stabilize the speed. Gutsuga does rocket away, but it's not the worst crash we've seen so far. Not a very high bar to hit, but you know, saw that coming. Bad angle overall, and very low speed for Gutsuga there, so he might have clipped, but it doesn't really matter when your opponent's, 3.5 seconds behind, give or take. Deja vu, as it turns out. Not exactly the most competitive match. But that just means it'll be over quick and we can probably hop into another one. We'll see this one through the end, though, as there's a decent chance that Nats might pull something out of his hat. I don't know. Rabbit, maybe? Pigeons, perhaps? Some other kind of mystical miracle to gain a point or two. Seeing complete blowouts is never particularly interesting, but beggars can't be choosers. Nats trailing already from the start. Going a bit wider this time might find more speed. Not quite as much as Gutsuga, but still in the fray of things at the very least. Coming up to this section, I think there was a small touch there because Gutsuga does catch back up. Had to release briefly coming into the reactor uphill. Much better line this time around, but Gutsuga gets more inside. He will have more speed, and Nats crashes. I think Nats went a little bit too wide on the penalty and probably didn't have enough speed. So that's going to be him once again handing over yet another point, this time allowing Gutsuga to get up to finalist position. One more. Gutsuga gets his first win of the round robin. Put up a good fight versus Rookie and Charles, to be fair, but third time's a charm as it turns out. One more round and we're good to go. By that I mean run off to a different match and see if anything else is a bit closer, more competitive perhaps. Please, Nats, like start reverse sweeping, that would be really funny and also really entertaining. Gutsuga gets his front tires up in the air, and I would almost bet that's exactly why he finds himself with so much more speed most of the times. Both get it clean coming into the reactor, penalty uphill. The mime turn, quintessentially, certainly popularized it. Nats currently keeping it close, keeping it in the lead. Will he be able to keep a clean round for the first time? 5th time's the charm, perhaps, but Gutsuga trying to overtake. He does, in fact. So Nats now fighting it out for second place, but they're neck and neck. Nats needs to keep this looping clean. Don't touch the wall. He's looking for an overtake, but he can't quite get it. It was the final round, but it was the best round. 28 milliseconds separating the two of them. That's going to be a 5-0 for Gutsuga. Let's hop on over. Let's see. We do have match 3 going on. Or was that the one we were just at? I don't think so. Let's see. No, actually, I think that... Yeah, that was. So let's hop over to one of those Div 2 matches. See what's going on down there. Do have Palau in finalist over here on Cinderwake, and it looks like he will be able to close it out rather easily. 3.5 seconds, give or take, separating the two of them, and the finish is right there. his aim is true, and Palau is going to be taking that win. Z Fair Lady, unfortunately, will not be claiming a win there. Oh, is there another map? Did we hop into 8? I think that was 8. Let's hop into 7. See what happens. Oh, just in time. Eblex currently in the lead, looking to take finalist for himself. We got a double finalist situation here, potentially, in the Colombian lobby. I don't think that crash is really going to matter. Here on Legionary, on what should be the penultimate round, all things considered, but this jump has claimed many lives. It looks good, though. Never mind. They're both respawning. What is happening? Oh, dear. Someone needs to, like, make a montage of this. I think okay, so Finthex. Someone needs to make a montage of all those quarter pipe jumps and just send it to Casitas and be like, you did this. Okay. Double finalist. Eblex fighting his way from behind. And I mean, it's Legionary. It's a quarter pipe. Do you think NCSA players know how to take a quarter pipe? I don't. we have the clips to prove it. Ooh, Eblex getting dangerously close to the sides there. Doesn't quite get the slide that he needs, so Finthex is maintaining a pretty stable lead airtime there. I don't know what either of these players are doing, and I don't think they know it either, but they're just vibing at this point, and they're relatively close. Different mistakes, but it's maintaining them in a stable position. Eblex now trailing by like a quarter second, a half second even. I don't know where he lost that speed, but he did. But it's the quarter pipe. The great equalizer is coming up. And who's to say what might happen? The one round that we've seen of these players thus far in this match took them like 3 tries each to get over it, and eventually Finn just gave up. Eblex the full second behind. I think Finn had to respawn. Yes, he did. So we have now entered the circus, ladies and gentlemen. Grab some popcorn because I don't think it's going to be leaving anytime soon, as Eblex makes the jump on the second try, and he will actually take the win. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh me, oh my. It's okay. So we are done with that, and that was the last round of that match. But don't go anywhere, folks. I'm going to send it to a short break, but then we're going to be back with round number 4 of the round robin. So we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be moving into round 4 of the 1v1 round robin. If I head over to screen share, I think I have the match that we're going to be watching. We have Mobius versus Gutsuga, and personally, based off of how both of those players have been performing, I think I really want to see where they end up, right? I think there's going to be a pretty close match in the making there. Who knows, though? Gutsuga has been performing really well, honestly. So it might be a stomp in his favor, but I want to see more of Mobius. So we're going to be going into that match, which would be room number 2, it should be, at the very least. Hop in there. Plus, we haven't seen Mobius yet in the round robins. Nope, that's Nats and Mats. That's not the right room. So let's try room number 3. Nope, Fjorton and Rookie. Room number 4? It's going to be one of these. There we go, okay. So we have Alviverde, banned by Mobius. Alex Sheer Body Pillow, I don't think we're ever going to see that map in these 1v1s. It's just going to get banned every time. That's banned, I believe. Yeah, Mobius is banning once again. And then Gutsuga is going to be able to make the final determination of which map. Okay, so we're not seeing Legionary. So we get the 2 pace-based maps to choose from, and we're going to see Cinderwake. Cinderwake will be the choice. I don't think we've seen that one yet in the 1v1s. I could be wrong. I think we saw Gatorade briefly. But at the very least, we'll be hopping into it in just a minute. I think we're waiting for, yeah. Okay, there we go. Match starting. It's going to be sending us over. Any minute now, I'd imagine if I... Yeah, starting in 60 seconds, so it's just going to take a little bit of time. Mobius not particularly confident of his chances, but I think it could be close. Maybe. I don't know. Gutsuga really has been performing pretty darn well. So, we'll see. Don't mind this. This is just the warm-up. We're waiting for the 60-second countdown to be done. There we go. It's going to send us over to Cinderwake. And again, this one's relatively pace-based. So it's just going to be, you know, them driving their hearts out. I haven't really seen Cinderwake all that much today. Really only saw it in the seeding. That was just for 4 quick rounds. So get a chance to see. Don't worry about this. It's just the warm-up. Ooh, bit of lag there. Not on the stream end, that's the player. Ooh, yeah, okay, so I think we're going to be specking Gutsuga for a little bit until Mobius's internet fixes itself a little bit. Thankfully, Trackmania doesn't really care about latency all that much. And so far, they're doing okay. Gutsuga obviously in the lead by a little bit, but I mean, Mobius is not doing terrible. Again, rather simple map. There's less things to crash. So the difference, even in a non-crash round, is going to be, oh, well, okay. Not the worst crash in the world, but that one certainly does shake things up. And now they are neck and neck. Each of them having made 1 mistake each. Okay. So now that's a much larger mistake. Gutsuga just needs to play it clean right now. Doesn't even need the fastest run in the world, and he should be able to walk it in. About 2 seconds. Well, there's a small clip there. It's not going to allow 2 seconds worth of overtake, but there is going to be, you know, a little bit of time lost there, barring Mobius making some kind of mistake even further back, which it looks like he did, because he didn't really gain too much out of that. 105.8, not exactly the fastest time in the world, but it doesn't have to be. Wait, what? Wait. What? What? Wait. What? Uh, um, we might need we might need an admin over here. Um, I didn't even realize until they crossed the finish line. I'm like, oh, that's funny. They're both of their skins have the numbers in the back of their car is red. No, that was something wrong with the lobby setting. Okay, Gabo, if you're watching, they're gonna need help in what is this, room 4? I think it is. Oh no. Oh dear. That's okay, so just looking at it, it looks like just looking at the Trackmania South America Discord, it looks like all of the rooms for this round did that. So I think they're restarting. Yeah, okay. So they're gonna they're gonna be restarting. Just give it a minute. Okay. We're gonna just send it back to my camera for a second because you don't need to stare at the loading screen. But it should fix it in a little bit. I think it needs to go through the system, through Nadio's systems. Okay. Well, Gutsuga said that he can see it now. Okay, yeah, so it is popping up. We're gonna run into room number 4, it was. So I'll send it back in game. So don't worry, it wasn't just our game, it was literally everyone that started in finalist. I think they had just mistyped the points limit to win. So now the question is, does everyone allow that person who like technically won in the scuffed setup to get one free round? Or do they just play it out? The moral quandary. But of course we are going back to Cinderwake at the very least. About 60 seconds. I'll just leave the chat up for now so we can see the countdown. Be less caught off guard. But yes, we'll be going off to Cinderwake. Should count us down. It's 30 seconds, then 15, then 10, then 5. Unless it starts earlier than that. Who knows? But yes, as we saw, it's safe to say that Gutsuga is going to be the relative favorite coming into this. Hop on board with Mobius for now, just to give us something to look at other than a car standing still. 15 seconds? Okay, so it doesn't give us the 30-second warning. Just have to finish up this. There we go. Okay, so we will hide the chat once we get over into Cinderwake. There we go. There. This time with feeling, as it should work. It's not a first to 1. As funny as that was, it's not, you know, the most ideal. But just a quick warm-up and then we'll be getting into it. Mobius versus Gutsuga. Based on that first round, what we saw, Mobius certainly has the ability to keep it close, but has to avoid all the mistakes that come with really having to push the pace. Small awkward line there. I don't think he actually clipped anything, but Mobius definitely had to release. And Gutsuga's just rocketing away. solid, you know, 1.25 second, give or take. Gutsuga just has to keep it clean. Let's hop on board with him because it's really going to be up to him to make some kind of mistake in order to allow Mobius back into the fray. But right now the difference is only increasing. Gutsuga's taking cleaner lines. I believe there was a small tap there last time around. But nothing to really speak of right now, and judging by the splits, I'd say Mobius crashed somewhere else in the mix of it all. Gutsuga not clipping the far left side there, and that was really one of the last major things for this map. He could realistically just grind his wheels across the outside dirt there and still probably win, although 2 seconds isn't quite the safest distance if you're talking about a full crash. 104.7, not too shabby. I believe world record is like 103 something on this map. I think this is one of the longer maps of the bunch. But we are right back to where we started. Or rather, where we left off, where Gutsuga is up 1-0, except this time the match doesn't end immediately thereafter. Mobius seemed to not have the best of dirt sections there, a little bit bumpy from what I saw coming into it. Well, now he's really just going to have to play catch-up. Hope for a mistake maybe, but other than that, just push as hard as humanly possible. Which, I mean, he's catching up a little bit. Guts hitting the wall. Gives Mobius some opportunity, but Guts had a much better drift there, although Mobius catching up with a more aggressive line into the plastic sausage. Trading blows back and forth, but Gutsuga not really giving up any position, allowing Mobius to get closer here and there, but the mistakes just keep piling up, and now we're a little bit more than half a second separating the two of them with really 1 turn left in the track. There's only so much that can go wrong, and I don't think he's going to crash the finish. 105 this time around is the finishing time. It's getting slower and slower, but still points are being handed out. Two nothing, 3 more rounds at least before Gutsuga can walk away with his second win of these 1v1s. Certainly a much cleaner line from Gutsuga there. Mobius not exactly having the easiest of times. Trailing by a little bit less than a second, give or take, and that seems to only be increasing as we get further along into the map. Barring any kind of mistake, Gutsuga is just walking it in nice and easy. It's really just going to be on him to not make any major mistakes. Even then, he can make minor mistakes more than likely and still walk away with the round win because he is significantly faster, it seems. I haven't seen the checkpoint update for Mobius in a little while. Yeah, I was gonna say, so he probably crashed pretty hard somewhere. Sure enough, the split jumped up from like 1.5 to 7.5 seconds. So that's what we call the mud. But what can you do? If memory serves, I think Nats and Mobius were the ones trailing up the rear for Div 1, seating wise. So I guess it's not the most surprising that he's the underdog. Very aggressive start line there, but you can see the smoothness of the outside approach from Gutsuga gives him a lot more speed. And he just rockets away. Already gains like a 10th in that one checkpoint. Now, quarter second, probably getting closer to half a second, yep. And again, like, we're just going to stick on Gutsuga's POV because there's not much Mobius can do to catch up on his own. He can drive really well, but this difference on a map like this, it really just has to come down to some kind of mistake being made by Gutsuga. I don't think we're going to be seeing any kind of unforced errors here. Skutsuga's keeping it clean, not really risking all that much. Doesn't need to. Don't need the fastest times in the world, although he did just ride the fastest time this match. 104 flat. One more, and that's going to be Gutsuga, claiming his second win in the round robin here in Div 1. And that's no small feat. Div 1 does have some pretty strong players all around. Ooh, he got dangerously close to the left side there and clipping his wheel, but does manage to avoid it, so now Mobius still on the back foot in what is potentially the last round of this match. Gonna have to push it, gonna need to get some clean gears, clean drifts, clean turns, clean outside dirt approaches, just something, anything. Well, a small bonk by Gutsuga is a good start, but the reactor did equalize the speed, so he's still on the back foot. But Mobius does go for a little bit of an aggressive outside dirt turn, but I think Gutsuga got a better gear there. I could hear it. Oh, well, that's a bonk and a half, so that's gonna be Mobius taking the lead, potentially avoiding a complete blowout, but it's not looking super clean there for Mobius. The pressure is on. Is he going to be able to stave off the onslaught? Doesn't quite look like it, as they are neck and neck, but Guts knew he had to risk. I respect it. It was so close for like 3-4 checkpoints at that point. And you can see Mobius's pace on a relatively clean run is like almost 2 seconds slower than what Guts can pull out. So it's rough. It's rough, man, but that's a win in that round for Mobius. He avoids getting 5-0'd. His ego remains intact. Probably, I don't know. We'll have to ask him after. Currently, though, still not looking great for Mobius. A small clip there, I think. Maybe he just released to avoid the clip. It was very close to the wall either way. I don't think you can really rely on Gutsuga to be making those kinds of mistakes like he did last round moving forward. And he did it for 4 rounds previously without making any kind of mistake. So, oh, yeah, well, that is not supposed to be a wall bang. This is not Red Bull Faster. Gutsuga's just rocketing away. We're going to hop back on his POV because, again, much like his other 4 rounds that he won, it's really up to him to make some kind of mistake to prevent him from winning. You don't have to push this round. He certainly isn't. I mean, look, he's not really getting close to the walls. He's not pushing for exit speed, nothing like that. Doesn't need to, because that's a clean victory, 5-1. It's a pretty rough start in the round robin. Oh, and actually, I think that was the last one. So I'm gonna send it off to a short break while we wait for the next round to get underway. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming on to the 5th round, I believe. One sec, let me double check that. Yes, 5th round. As you can see from the screen, I found what I'm hoping to be is a banger of a match with Fjortson versus Nats. I don't think we've caught Fjortson quite yet on the 1v1s. That is a beautiful skin. It looks anime, but it looks very pretty as well. So we will get a chance to see whatever these players are choosing in terms of map picks and bans. Excuse me. Fjortson has about 30 seconds, give or take. Banned Alex Shear body pillow. That's always like the first one. That's the funny part to me. Like no one seems to want to play that map whatsoever. Oh, Rabby. No one likes your map. I like your map. The players don't like your map. But we are going to be going over to Alvi Verde, which is surprising because I feel like people don't like that map either. But I guess they dislike the other ones more. So, once the timer ticks down, we will be, I guess, restarting on this exact map. The default base waiting map is Alvi Verde, as you can see, so we're going to be seeing this. Not really going anywhere, except underwater. Alex Shear body pillow is the best map in the map pack. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the players disagree because they keep banning it, and it's like the first ban every single time. Like, I know it's a hard map, it's a very tricky map, but but I swear they really don't want to play it. Brief 20-second warm-up. Fjorton with Otto. Isn't that a singer or something from Japan? I don't know. Fjorton's very much into that anime stuff. Pretty sure he had a Fate Stay Night Discord profile picture for a long time. I don't know if he still does. But either way, we'll see if the power of anime memes is stronger than Nats, I guess. I don't know. Well, currently, in theory, these two players should be relatively evenly matched, but who knows, honestly. Fjorton gets, seems to be a little bit more speed, but Nats had a better line coming out of the bug slide. Fjorton trailing by just a little bit. Not a blowout quite yet. But Nats does get a little bit more speed. Fjorton going very far to the left and does pay for it. So right now it's going to be up to Nats to not make any major mistakes because he does have... Please. I'm cursed with the power of prophecy. Okay, so Nats is just utterly dead. Fjorton is trying his best to give Nats a chance, but Nats is also just forgetting that it's not a plastic wall ride. So Fjorton finishes the map with a 101.6. I'm pretty sure a half decent time on this map is like a 57, if memory serves. Oh dear. Oh me, oh my. Well, cinema to start. Nats gets a much better start. I don't really know where he found the extra speed or where Fjorton lost it, but this is the reality we now live in. Fjorton, that is not a lot of speed, and I don't think he really clipped, but is... that's a no slide and a half. Okay, well, Nats does get a little bit of a bump. So we're already starting off with absolute cinema as Nats is playing ping pong with himself, and Fjorton can't get past that one checkpoint. So Nats just needs to walk it in. He does not seem to have the best lineup for that, though, because that was also dangerously close. And I mean, having watched Charles and Gutsuga enough times now in these 1v1s, that you can definitely overshoot that ramp, and not necessarily a bad way. Although you do lose some speed, you're not, risking a pretty gnarly clip. But Nats this time around gets the looping very clean and brought the lobby time all the way down to a 1 minute flat. We're improving. Just, slowly. Oh boy. 1-1. Tied up. If that's any indication of what the rest of this match is going to be like, I think we're in for a treat. Nats once again has a much superior starting line, but that is very short-lived as Fjorton is able to rocket past him, and once a clip is brought into the fray, words are escaping me. It's late. Oh dear, well, driving is difficult, as it turns out, as Fjorton is given a much-needed opportunity up in the front. Nats seems to be doing a lot better this time around. Gets it much cleaner than Fjorton, who clips somewhere along the way. Gets a little bit of water wheels, so he might have a rough time steering here yet. You can see he had to oversteer there because I think his front left tire, maybe even his back left tire, caught the water. Loses quite a bit of speed on grass because it's basically as slippery as ice and significantly less controllable, as it turns out. So that's going to be Nats going up in the lead. And Fjorton now on the back foot. I figured this match was going to be close, that's why I chose it, but I didn't think it would be close like this. But I'll take it. This time around, the starts are relatively even. I think Nats got a little bit better speed. No, it actually seems like Fjorton got it better. Nats not too far behind, though, and certainly has the opportunity to catch back up, going for a very inside approach. Beautiful line right up until he says hello to the green light pole, and we're now back where we started. They are neck and neck, with Nats having quite a bit more speed. Fjorton has to play a bit of catch up here, does have the speed, overshot the ramp, rather safe, but I don't blame him given how these past few rounds have been. Doesn't get anywhere close to the water this time, but he gets a little bit too close to the little island there in the middle of the road, and will fall further behind in second place. Nats pulling out a little bit of Tony Hawk per skater. Thankfully he doesn't overshoot the finish. That was like a disaster in slow motion waiting to happen, but thankfully stabilized. Nats now up to 3 points. 2 more and he could take a win, potentially his first win. I don't know, I'll check after this match. Nats definitely has the first like 5 or so seconds of this map down on lock, because he always gets it just a little bit better than Fjorton, but then Fjorton seems to run away with it once we get to this section, barring, you know, any mistakes, which has happened quite a lot, so it's hard to really say. Oh, Nats, this time he takes his turn to get a bonk in early. Has to play catch up. Not a second and a half behind Fjorton. That air brake probably saved him from a gnarly clip on his back wheels. Ooh, getting dangerously close to the right side there. But he does manage to stabilize. Nats, however, is catching up by maybe hundredths, a tenth at most per checkpoints. And yeah, I don't think he's really going to have the opportunity because Fjorton keeps the ending clean. Doesn't even matter if he clips there. I'm not really sure if he did, but it's alright because it's now back up 2-3. I don't know how Nats got there, but he did, and he got to the finish line, just not first. Unfortunately for him in this game mode, until we hit tomorrow's bracket, if you ain't first, you last. So Fjorton now has the opportunity to stabilize the scoreline, tie things back up. Does have to catch up a little bit, but that seems to be the case every single round. Nats just has that first second or so on lock. Maintains the lead, and that's a gnarly clip, so that's going to be Nats maintaining that lead. Just has to avoid any major crashes. Gets really close to that light post, but I don't think he got a slowdown from it. So he is safe for now. 2 seconds separating him from his opponent. He was a little bit far to the left, but it does work out, so he keeps as little airtime as possible. Doesn't touch the water. Line looks nice and clean. There's not really much Fjorton can do at this point. I mean, you can only push it so hard. Nats didn't need to push that ending quite as close as he did, but it's alright because he did, in the end, push the new best lobby time down to a 58 flat, and now we're actually talking in regards to, you know, good times. 4-2 Nats. Red number on the back of his car. Does that add pressure? Maybe. Maybe not. We'll find out. Ooh, did Nats clip? He clipped a lot worse than what I originally thought. Okay, so this is basically a free round for Fjorton. He could probably crash and still be in the lead. I wouldn't advise trying that. But, you know, he could. Definitely taking it safe, and he has the splits to do that. There's not really much that Nats can do to catch up. He just needs to hope for a crash. Fjorton, please don't risk it. There's no need to risk anything right now. Coming into it, he had to release a little bit, but Nats somehow lost 10 extra seconds from the last time I glanced over at the splits, now 11. So, I mean, yeah, free round. I don't even think Nats going to be able to finish. I don't know what happened. But it is what it is. 58 low. Again, another pretty decent time from Fjorton. Not the fastest time in the world, but it doesn't need to be. You just need to keep it clean. 3-4. eventually one of these players is going to have to close out this match. There are no draws here, so Bjorton is still in the hot seat right now. Nats, of course, does still have the red number on the back of his car. Bjorton had a little bit extra speed there, but I think he had to release because Nats is now rocketing away. Probably going to have to risk this reactor section. Does just that, but I don't think it really helped all that much. Bjorton's going to have to push and potentially just hope for a mistake. He's not fully out of it. But Nats is driving rather clean. The line from Fjorton's a little bit shaky. He's going to have to push it, but I think Nats is the one who's pushing it. The splits really aren't going anywhere. I mean, it's going to take like the worst possible. I don't know. You didn't have to risk there, buddy. What the hell? Okay. Double finalist. 0-0. Any major mistakes here and it is a death knell for this match. No, you can't blame me. The TO signed a contract. They take all the blame. No, but yeah, currently Fjorton just a little bit in the lead, but Nats is definitely pushing it. These players look more locked in than they've been all series long, but that's going to be a bonk, and Nats is not fully out of it, but that's going to be a pretty rough setup. Nats thankfully bonked with the reactor, so it didn't kill all of his speed, but it killed like most of his speed. Nats can't escape it. I know, man. It always happens. Well, either way. Fjorton, please. Where's Nats? He's too far behind. It's probably like the best possible location to crash because you just got the reactor. So it's going to give you all the speed in the world, and that is going to be Fjorton claiming the win by the skin of his teeth, if you can call it that. I feel like that's probably the last match going on. Yeah, okay, so that's all done. We got a couple minutes. I'm going to send it to a short break so I can refill my water bottle. We'll be right back with the penultimate round of the group stage here after just a brief few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the second to last round of the round robin group stage right now. We have quite a few matches going on, but one in particular that I really wanted to check out is the one you're going to see on your screen just now. It's going to be Matt versus Gutsuga. Battle of Brazil, as it were. I think this is going to be a good one. Now, obviously, Matt is going to be the favorite. Immediately bans Legionary. I guess he just doesn't like that one. Okay, Gutsuga really doesn't want to play either Alex Share Body Pillow or Gatorade. So it's going to be up to Matt to decide whether he wants to go on Cinderwake or Alvi Verde. And we're going to do Alvi Verde, so we're not even changing maps, so to speak. We're just going to be restarting this one and hopping on into it. So now, just have a brief warm-up. Well, actually, it needs to... a little bit of RPG here from Matt while we wait. I think we're just waiting for... yeah, the 60-second timer. And then we'll be good. From here, I think really the only map we haven't seen in any of these 1v1s is Alex Share Body Pillow. It's been banned like first every excuse me, God, every single time. So something tells me we're not going to see the Body Pillow map until tomorrow. 15 seconds remaining. And we get into it for real. We'll see what Gutsuga has. Can he take it to bad map taste? Yeah, well, they can't escape it tomorrow, and Matt certainly can't escape that little ledge right there, as he has a pretty gnarly start. So Gutsuga has a pretty solid lead to start things off. That's probably exactly what he wanted, especially considering... ooh, that's a lot of speed though for Matt. That's a huge amount of speed coming out of the bug slide. I guess Matt is somewhat known as like a pretty good trial player, if I'm not mistaken, so I can't say I'm surprised that he knows how to take that kind of bug slide. Gutsuga, however, still about a second and a quarter in the lead, and at this point it's going to take either just like the most ungodly play possible for Matt, which is certainly possible, or some gnarly mistake because the pressure mounts too much. But currently Gutsuga, while he is losing a couple hundredths here and there per checkpoint, he's not losing enough to really have to worry about it. He could safe the end. Yeah, pretty much. 57-9. Better time than the last match. Much better time. But if I'm Gutsuga, I don't want to, you know, count your chickens before you hatch, because I would not expect Matt to make the same mistake twice. And again, he's the favorite here for a reason. Although, that being said, it's currently doing pretty well. Let's see if the bug slide line is better. About even, actually. Pretty impressive, because up until now, even versing like Charles, Gutsuga was just blasting ahead with the bug slide. Where is he now? It looks like he lost a little bit of speed, probably had to release somewhere. It doesn't look quite like a crash. But either way, he is on the back foot. Whew, gets dangerously close to the right side there, but maintains and is able to stay in the fray of things. About half a second behind, and gaining, you know, maybe a couple thousandths tops. But he's not losing thousandths, and that's impressive in his own right, but you are coming up to the very end of the map, so unless Matt makes some kind of terrible mistake, which actually it's Gutsuga who grinds against the wall, not much he can really do there. We know Gutsuga, at his fastest, could have beaten Matt in this round, but doesn't really matter because he didn't beat him in this round. Currently tied up 1-1. Gatsuga gets a little bit of a lead here, but I don't know where Matt found that extra speed, but it certainly paid off, and Gatsuga gets a little bit of an awkward line now. Matt doesn't get as aggressive as a bug slide line, so Gatsuga does catch up just enough to keep it competitive, but that's a bonk. And Matt is now going to be in a pretty uncontested lead. I think we're now hitting that point where you really just need some kind of mistake. And I don't really think Matt's the kind of person to make those kinds of mistakes, if you catch my drift. It's very clean. So overall, I mean, the splits are staying more or less the same. They aren't really changing that much, barring a mistake from Gatsuga. It seems like he's made a couple now, because the last 2 checkpoints have been 1/10 lost towards Matt. Yeah, just walk it in. Pretty decent time, all things considered. Low 58 consistently in rounds. That's pretty darn good. We'll see tomorrow if it's good enough to stand up against, you know, the best that the continent has to offer. But at the very least, for now, Matt takes the lead for the first time in this series. Do that 3 more times and you walk away the victor. And all the pressure is going to be on Gatsuga now. He is on the back foot. Matt gets a lot of airtime, which has the potential. I don't know what happened to Gatsuga. Oh no. He clipped the checkpoint. That's bad. So that's basically a free round. I mean, you would need a complete catastrophe, just like an utter breakdown from Matt in order to catch up right now. So that wasn't a request, by the way, but I don't think Gatsuga's quite close enough. Like, he gained 3 seconds, but he's still 1.5 seconds behind. So the caster curse can only do so much. And realistically, yeah, no, I was gonna say Gatsuga's line there wasn't the best, and Matt manages to take the round with a 101.3. Three down, 2 to go if you're Matt, and he takes a very aggressive line to start things off. Gets a little bit more air time, so you can see Gatsuga starting to catch up just a little bit. But the speed is borderline negligible and basically gets reset with the bug slide, which Matt got significantly better. Which again, Gatsuga's been getting the bug slide better than basically everyone else in these 1v1, so the fact that Matt got it even better is pretty scary, all things considered. Like, I think Matt's going to be a menace on this map in the double elimination bracket tomorrow. Gatsuga just doing whatever he can to catch up, but realistically he's kind of stabilized around like 0.15, 0.3-ish behind. And I'm not sure if he's really going to be able to prevent Matt from getting that red letter on the back of his car. Where did he go? Okay. Good talk. 58 flat too, so like Matt was pushing 0.3 faster than that. That was a fast time that he was on. That was a very fast time that Matt was on. But all for naught. Gatsuga manages to keep it close, prevent finalists from happening quite yet. Oh, but that was a weird clip. I don't even know what he clipped, but he clipped something. And that's like a free second, almost. Not the best bug slide, but he didn't really have the best speed to get the front tires up in the air like he wanted to. The less the front tires touch the penalty, the less, well, penalty he'll take for his speed. He is pushing, but ooh, Matt clipped somewhere. And now I'd say they're even up. This penalty section is going to even up the speed pretty aggressively. Gatsuga gets a lot of air time, so Matt stabilizes about half a car length ahead. Whew, okay, yeah, that's what happens when you force your opponents to push. Great play there from both of them, but for a second I didn't see Matt's name tag. I was like, there's no way that happened again. But no, we're good. And Matt does claim his 4th point out of 5, 1 more to go. And he will win this surprisingly close, but also unsurprisingly Brazilian match. But now, the onus is on Gutsugo. You just gotta win. You gotta do it 3 times, otherwise you're out. Well, not out, but you're, done with this match. Beautiful front tires up in the air from Matt. One of the few times you do want airtime there. Gutsugo taking a very inside approach, and Matt actually crashes. Pretty bad crash too, so that's going to be a full reset for him, and that's going to be seconds, probably. We don't actually know what the split is right now, but it's not good. Yeah, no, about 8 seconds. Okay, so Gutsugo has the opportunity to just walk it in. Doesn't need to risk whatsoever. Sometimes these are the hardest rounds to close out, but he has the opportunity to, respawn and try again. Don't need to risk. Don't touch the wall. Don't crash the finish. Nice and easy. Dead center. Fast time, too. He was in the zone. But now, I wouldn't bide on Matt. Nice. I wouldn't bide on Matt doing that again. That's not something you can hope for. Potentially the last round, and at the very worst, the penultimate round. Matt once again going for that very aggressive start line. Gutsugo going for a wider approach, but it does get him at least a safer line into that. Ooh, beautiful bug slide from both of them, but I think Matt got a little bit more speed out of it, just like 1 or 2 more speed. Going very aggressive on the inside approach. Does survive the precision section this time. So they are neck and neck, and Matt looks to have just a little bit more speed. Gutsugo not giving him any quarter. However, I say that, and he crashes at a crucial moment. Unforced error causes catastrophe, and that's just going to be Matt walking it in. He's going to have to make an unforced error of his own to allow Gutsugo to make it back. I mean, realistically, he is close enough to punish a mistake, but I don't think that's a large enough mistake because the reactor is there. And sure enough, yeah, 58-1 even with that bonk. Great attempts by Gutsugo. Really was a good match. But Matt was the favorite for a reason. Let's see if there's any other games still going on. Looks like there are. Ooh, there is one. Actually, wow. Div 2 finished. I just picked a random one. I have no idea which match this is. Fjorton versus Mobius. Okay. This was another one that I was considering checking out, but I opted to go for the Brazilian match. I don't think we had seen that. And it looks like Fjorton not going to be able to close out his finalist here. So it is going to be double finalist for what I would have to assume is the last push of this round before we go into the very last round. Oh, small touch there, and a start and a large touch there immediately after Mobius is given the win on a silver platter. That is just catastrophic. Complete unforced error from the man formerly known as P.O. Tech. He's never going to live that down. He hasn't been on that team for like a year and a half. But either way, 4 seconds separating them. Mobius is just vibing. Even that clip really isn't that bad. If they were neck and neck, it would be, because that cost him probably a 10th, maybe. But, I mean, the awkward grass section just doesn't matter. Just walk it in. Don't go flying off the side, Even that doesn't matter. 8 seconds separating them? Yeah, Fjorton crashed somewhere else along the lines, and he'll be walking away in second place from this. Unfortunate for him. Sucks when you make a mistake like that so early in the round, but let's see, match 3. I think we were watching match 2 before. That was the Brazilians. So let's check out what this is. Charles and Nats. Nats actually getting a couple of points here, and they're playing body pillow. So Daniel's big fish. You get to see like 10 seconds of it. But yeah, ultimately that is the end of this round. Next round is set to start at the start of the hour. Just going to send it to screen share real quick so we can take a look. Let's see. Here, let me refresh this so it updates with the score line. Group stage. Scroll down. And there you go. This is going to be Noisia versus Matt, which I feel like is a match that we should watch. That's probably the one to see. I don't think we've seen Noisia at all yet. Rookie versus Nats. That should be interesting, but I feel like the way they've been playing, Rookie's probably going to win. Gutsuga versus Fjorton. Probably Gutsuga. And then Charles versus Mobius. That's pretty one-sided in favor of Charles. So, yeah, I think we will end up checking out the Noisia versus Matt match. But I think for now I'm going to send it off to a short break just to let my voice rest and give it my all for one last round for the day. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back in a few short minutes. Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen, for the last match of today. Maybe not the very last match that we'll see, because after this one finishes we may hop over to another one to check out if there are others that are still ongoing once this is done, but still, you get the idea. We're on the last round of matches. We're all tired. Sure, the players are tired. This is a lot of playing. I mean, hell, it's a lot of casting, to be honest. My voice is starting to get tired. But you can see Noisia immediately banned Alviverde. We will not be seeing that one, but it does mean, for now at least, depending on how Matt and Noisia are feeling, that we may see Alex share body pillar for more than like 3 seconds. Worth noting as well, both of these players are the undefeated players for the group stage. So one of these players will go 7-0 for the 1v1s, the other one will be 6-1. Matt decided he didn't want to play Alex share body pillow. Sorry, Daniel's big fish. You can take your grievances up with Matt. He does pop into chat every now and then, although I tend to doubt he's currently in there. But we are going to be seeing Gatorade in just a little bit. For now, we're just chilling on Alviverde. God, cannot say that for the life of me. But either way, we will be hopping on over to Gatorade. I think that's the first time we've seen that map in the 1v1s, or maybe we saw it like once before. Hasn't been chosen very often. Feels like more often than not it was Cinderwake and Alviverde. I think like once or twice Legionary. But either way, Noisia giving us motion sickness, Matt doing unspeakable things to the terrain, I guess? I don't know. Wall climbing, embracing his inner Spider-Man. But that will be the last we see of Alviverde for now. We are going to Gatorade. Out by Thonej and Jabski. We have a quick 20-second warm-up, and we're getting into it. And this is it. These are the 2 highest performers of the day versing each other. Also the first time we're getting a good look at Noisia outside of the seating itself. Noisia, of course, more recently representing Leviathan, a rather large esports org from what I have learned. Showing them all what South America can do. I believe, is Noisia the only Argentinian in Division 1? I know there are some others, but I think they were down in Div 2. I don't remember off the top of my head. Either way, Noisia currently in the lead, but just by a little bit. And actually, I just realized this entire lobby is keyboard players. Both Matt and Noisia, to my knowledge, play keyboard. Noisia currently getting the better of these drifts, however, about 2 tenths ahead, and that's only going to increase as Matt clips a little bit. Happens when you have to struggle with the pace so much. Noisia just rocketing ahead, and we'll hop on board with him. As it's really just going to be up to him to determine whether or not he wins this round. Force a mistake. As opposed to just driving clean, getting a 54-1, that sounds like a fast time. If memory serves, I think it's like a 53 mid is world record. I could be wrong about that. But 54-1 sounds fast, so I'm just gonna choose to believe that it's fast. And currently, for the first time basically all day, Matt is on the back foot. Ooh, yeah, okay, that's a lot of speed, and he didn't quite have the ability to control it, and I don't blame him, because that was wild. So, that does leave him a solid second behind, give or take. Noisia just in his own lane. Not moisturized because there's no water. Actually, no, there is water. There's water on that reactor, so now he's moisturized. And he's just chilling. God, that's a cancerous turn. Uphill grass reactor with water. Thonej decided to choose violence for an otherwise pretty chill map, and that's consistency. Driving like within 300ths multiple rounds in a row, that's pretty darn good. And I mean, hey, it's good enough to get 2-0 so far. 3 more of those, and Noisia just waltzes right into a completely undefeated streak through the group stage. the undisputed king of day 1. But day 2, tomorrow, is going to be where the boys are separated from the men. That's where they fight for the prize money. That's where they fight for the spots in the Pan American. Currently, Noisia's fighting to keep his undefeated streak alive. Doing pretty good with it, dare I say. Beautiful outside dirt turn. Just a little bit more risky there than what Matt did, and you can see the slight speed difference as he pulls away. Coming up into it, goes very high on the platform after that grass section. I wonder if that gives more speed, because it certainly feels like it. He just seems untouchable thus far. And Matt's not driving bad. He made like a mistake, what, one round? Okay. I would love to know the copium timer for Noisia there, because he was screaming fast, and then he just like got stuck at the finish at the exact wrong time. Oh dear. Well, you know, you can't just slaughter him entirely. You gotta give him a little bit of a lead to run with, and then you can defeat him. So now that's done. And I mean, currently Noisia is still just in the lead the entire time. You know, there's really not much that Matt seems to be able to do. It's just Noisia's pace is that much better, and this is a very pace-driven map. So I mean, yeah, I feel like this is going to be all she wrote, and Noisia will walk away undefeated, barring any more shenanigans. Don't do it. Yeah, he jumps way higher that time around, and actually even still beat the previous lobby best. 2 more rounds. Could have been 1 more if he didn't ego risk. I don't know why he jumped so low. He was like 0.6 ahead, and he's like, no, I'm going for world record. But this time, for the first time, Matt is in the lead, and Noisia makes an uncharacteristically early mistake. So Matt has the chance to keep it close. 3-2 is not the worst scoreline, even if you're on the back foot there. Noisia's gonna have to push, but right now he's still losing a couple hundredths per checkpoint split, and well, now he just gained like half a second, but never mind, that's reset entirely as he bonks the wall. Matt, once again, up to almost a second. That was actually world record. Was it? I thought world record was like 53.7, 53.8. That was closer to 53 mid. I could be wrong. Someone else is going to have to check, because right now we have a round at hand, and Noisia I don't think is going to be able to overtake. Matt just needs to not pull a Noisia, and yeah, sure enough, he plays that super safe Noisia going for the ego push. That was world record. Okay, damn. I'm probably thinking of a different map that's like 54 mid or something like that. The world records meld together in my head. So Noisia doing world record in rounds. You love to see it. Knew it was fast. Makes you wonder what the other round was where he crashed, because it felt like he was about the same speed there as well, which is just disgusting. So does that mean Noisia is the only person in the world right now that's driven below a 54? Because that's pretty darn close to 54 flat. Either way, Noisia, whew, that back tire was dangerously close. If the paint was any thicker, he would have scraped it. But he survives. At the time he was surviving. And Matt is going to be able to equalize unless he decides to ego push the finish for some reason. That line looked scary. Wiggity and Mince both have 0.9. Okay, so there are all 3 of them then must be like dangerously close to each other. What's second place then? Just curious, like by how much Noisia beat the world record. It's probably like what, a couple thousandths. By the way, Matt manages to even up the scoreline and immediately clip within the first 5 seconds. I don't think it counts as a caster curse if I'm just saying their name and not saying anything about them yet. I feel like the caster curse has to be some statement about their performance. 9.52. Okay, so Noisia just barely beat it. Currently, he is quite far ahead, although... Oops, sorry, knocks my microphone. Noisia is quite far ahead, but it's hard to tell exactly how fast he's going. So Matt did make that mistake earlier on. A little bit of a bounce there, but I don't think it's really going to matter all that much. Matt is still not particularly close, and a 54.1 to claim finalist. It is a close match. I'm like, on top of these two being the two, undefeated players, I'm very glad that we checked this one out, because they are keeping it close. Matt is gonna have to not do that. Again, if I just say their name, I don't count that as a cast a curse. I haven't been able to say anything yet. There's no jinxing yet. But this is quite a borderline insurmountable obstacle to overcome. 0.8 is not exactly an easy thing to gain on this map in particular, being so pace heavy, so it's really just going to be up to Noisia to make some kind of mistake to allow for a double finalist situation. And I mean, like, he's kind of running out of places to crash, so I think Noisia should be able to just walk this one in. Because basically every checkpoint has been a slightly larger gap between first and second here, and sure enough, Noisia played it safe. He saw the splits, I'm sure. And Noisia claiming his undefeated streak. Gutsiga, you did better against Matt than Noisia. You should be second. I don't know about that, because Noisia beat Matt. Noisia, in fact, was the only person to beat Matt. So, But yeah, honestly, like, ridiculous pace. The fact that Noisia drove world record in rounds is wild. I love it when that happens. And let's pop open the website so you can see all the score lines, because I believe that was the last match. Oh. Load. There we go. Group stage. Yeah, you can see, oh, it looks like maybe one match is still going on. Didn't show it as going on. Oh no, it is. Okay. Let's hop in then and check out what's going on. And then we'll check out the you played so bad. You played good right up until you crashed a couple times, but minus those, 1 or 2 rounds, you did good. Oh wow, we literally just caught the end of this. Rookie beats Nats. Extremely close too, from the looks of it. And I think there was one in the lower bracket that was still going on. Well, actually, let's check out the upper bracket first. That's liable to be finishing up soon. Charles versus Mobius. Huh, it's actually not particularly far along. Wonder if they had a delay of some kind. Currently, Mobius in the lead, which is weird, but then again, I looked at the overall scoreline and Charles was like 3-3 coming into this round. So I think it's kind of biting him in the butt to not have practiced these maps and probably just hard focused on Elite Cup. I mean, I can't blame him. Prize pool's, significantly larger. But I mean, like, either way, evens it up. 3-3 here versus Mobius. Playing on Legionary as well. It's really only like, what, the 3rd time we've seen this chosen? Then again, I've only seen the body pillow map being chosen like once out of the entirety of today, not counting seeding. So, to each their own, I suppose. Charles, of course, is going to have stronger pace, but more liable to make mistakes if he doesn't really know the lines, just kind of learning them. Currently, though, pretty safe quarter second separating. The pole, though, decided to say hello, and Charles didn't crash it, but that was a pretty gnarly release, allowing Mobius to get up in the lead for now, at least. But you could see Charles saw that split and is pushing almost immediately. Ooh, I don't know what happened to Mobius, but I think he had a release. I don't think he clipped. Not entirely sure. We're also cooked. It's a long day. Very little break between each round. It's just go, go, go. It's alright. Tomorrow will be a little bit more forgiving in terms of schedule. Charles, though, is not the cleanest of quarter pipes, but it's enough to claim finalists. No one has practiced Noisy has good times because... Really? No one practiced, so literally everyone was just chilling and practicing Elite Cup or just vibing? You have like a pact to just not try? Well, not to not try, but you know, not to practice. Or just not doing anything, yeah. Fair. I mean, hey. For like 2 hours before the match, was that the only 2 hours that he practiced? At least once the count is registered. Yeah, that's how they get you. Charles, though, looks to be closing this one out. As realistically, he's keeping it pretty clean. Coming up to the quarter pipe, and despite last round not exactly being the cleanest jump, he still made it, which is, you know, saying something considering some of the rounds that we've seen thus far, and that was much cleaner. 104.4. Not the fastest time we've ever seen, but clean enough to get it done. That is going to be probably the end. Let's back out real quick and see if anything else is going on, but no, that's going to be it. So, that is a wrap on today. Folks, I'm tired, if you can't tell by my voice. It's a lot more tiring when you don't have a co-caster, but that's okay because tomorrow Legion will be joining me and he'll be doing a lot more of the yapping as he is so much better at it than me. Either way, hope you enjoyed the matches today. We can take a brief look at the standings, as it were. Let's see here, let me refresh. Group stage, and you can see here Noisy is undefeated, Matt second, Rookie third, Charles fourth, Gutsuga 5th, Mobius 6th, Fewerton 7th. Nats, unfortunately, was not able to catch a break. Although he was very close in that last one. He brought it to finalists from what we saw versus Rookie. So yeah, good stuff all around. Brain is slowly braining less as time goes on, so I'm going to leave it there. So, hope you enjoyed today's matches, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in tomorrow for, half an hour before when it started today. For me, Eastern US time, that would be 2:30 in the afternoon. I think it's a little bit earlier, or maybe a little bit later in the day. I'm not sure how time zones work anymore. I'm tired. Anyways, tune in tomorrow for the official bracket, the playoffs and whatnot, and we'll have Legion helping along with the cast. So until then, have a good night.